Visual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song where we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
I'm Rick Showers from No Bull RV, and even though it's a few months past Thanksgiving, I want to give thanks right now. This is the time of year when so many people go to the new RV show and buy their new RVs.
All the new
Now the front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
And one! Right up until the time they leave the showroom.
Front runner.
Then they're used. Just like every quality used RV on our lot. Somebody pays full price at the RV show. Just because they...
But look at the Canadian.
It stays in our customers' pockets, Bob, because we sell
But look at the
out of business. That's why we give thanks every year. You make it all possible.
And that's no bull.
NoBullRV.ca.
What's some...
Bobby shuts down the floor. Maris flurries. 7-3.
What Nissan drivers here?
It's a glorious day out there. Scoops it over the shoulder.
Kicks ass all-wheel drive for $398 monthly at 2.9% with $0 down. Built, tested, and trusted to conquer Canada's harsh winters. Visit your local Nissan dealer today or nissan.ca for details. 60 months, conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
I feel so...
The Jason Gregor Show.
Front runner for Defensive Player of the Year.
On Sports 1440.
The Italians kick things off with goal.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Scoops it over the shoulder here to Kamara. Number 3 is up and into Marie Philip-Poulin. Feeling it, flying at 7-8 from 3.
A tremendous Tuesday afternoon. How are you? And welcome to the Jason Gregor Show, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining the show, watching it anywhere on Twitch as well. Maybe you are listening on the app at iHeartRadio. Or Stingray, thanks so much for that. Now, some of you going old school, sports1440.ca, streaming it there, watching on your phones. It's awesome. So thank you very much. Lots going on. We discussed this yesterday a little bit. not a real big surprise that Canada is taking it on the chin again to Team USA today. But in the rivalry series, Team USA dominated. They won all 4 games, 4-1, 6-1, 10-4. Right, 10-4, 6-1. Like it was, and then 4-1 in the other game. Like Canada scored 7 goals in those 4 games, gave up 24, and it's 4-0 after 40 minutes today. I know Poulin's not playing, but even if she was, I don't think it's enough. I look at this women's team this year, and they remind me very similar of the 2006 men's team, where they kept a lot of veterans, went with aging veterans, and guess what? Team USA is infinitely faster. And the thing that's disappointing is you saw this in the rivalry series. You could have altered, but they're stubborn. Shocking. Hockey Canada is stubborn. And they got a little bit of an old girls club. I don't want to say old boys club because I know that they're part of the selection, but that's what it is. That's what it is. It's happened before and it's going to happen again. Right? Even if the men's team wins, I think you can argue that it happened a little bit on the selection of their team. But when you don't have any skaters, like you got a third goalie who's under 24, but no skaters, like come on. You need quickness. You can't tell me, like, did you see Canada at the World Championships? Was Danielle Serdachny pretty good there? I know she hasn't lit it up in the PWHL. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. To me, she should be on the team. And there's a few other youngsters, and they need more speed. They're not quick enough. Anybody watching the game, you don't have to watch a ton of women's hockey to know the Team USA was way quicker in the rivalry series, and they're way quicker today. And Canada is going to need like some sort of unbelievable individual performance from either their goalie or a forward for them to, because right now they'd be a big underdog to win this in the gold medal. They'd be a big underdog. So we will how it plays out. The men's team will get going Thursday morning. So got about 42 hours, give or take, and until that game goes, and then we'll see what the line combinations are. We saw the power play. No surprise, had McKinnon, Makar, McDavid, Crosby, and Reinhart on it. The lines similar. We'll see how long they last, but we'll see if the women can come back today. On the program today, we'll go around the NHL, and Eric Erlandson will join us from Tampa Bay, where the Lightning have been on fire for the last few months. Kucherov killing it in the 2026 calendar year. Vasilevsky's having a great season, also fighting. They've had massive injuries to their defense corps specifically, and even up front with Braden Point, not slowing them down. Like I'm telling you, Tampa Bay looks like a wagon. I would say right now, I'd have Tampa Bay, if their team gets healthy. Like Colorado's 5 points ahead of them, and Colorado's best guys have basically played all the time. Other than Blackwood, they always had some injuries in goal. They've been pretty healthy. Nothing like Tampa Bay. So we'll talk to Erlandson about that. Grant Fedoruk will join us. We'll talk a little Olympics and injuries and what's exactly a ruptured ACL? How's it different? We'll find out about that. How was Lindsey Vonn even able to get into the starting gate with a ruptured ACL? Pretty impressive. TR will be by. Dave McCarthy from SiriusXM. We got Struddy. Elks president Chris Morris will be by to talk about them hosting the Coach of the Year and some other events that are going on in March. Also, the Combine is going to be here. Also, free agency in the CFL has officially begun today. We know with the Elks and who they signed, and that was more last week if we look at it. But I look at the Elks, and they got a lot of things. They got a lot of things going for them, right? A lot of things going for them. So you look at some of the new ones: Malik Carney, Joe Robustelli, Taylor Powell at quarterback position. Then on the O-line, Bodner and Woodmansey and Jordan Murray. So we'll probably talk a little bit, maybe get Chris's thoughts. I know he doesn't do much on the recruiting side. That's not his thing. And he's been pretty open about it, but he does know the O-line. So I'm sure he's looked in a little bit to the O-lineman that they've signed and maybe how they're going to help out. And the fact that I think that the O-line will be a little nastier this season than it was last year. I won't be surprised to see O'Donnell move over and play left guard. And a Bordner as the tackle position. Like, I look at Ivy and I don't know, man. He's in tough. He does not have a bonus of anything. And I wonder if there's a trade there. I know it's hard to trade American offensive linemen, but I'm not sold that he's going to be back with the green and gold. I think I look at the tea leaves. You look at who they signed. You look at salary cap. I think those are some changes we could see potentially on the offensive line. We'll have Spec DVD will also join us on the show. Of course, Canada got another medal in speed skating, short track speed skating today in the relay. I kind of love the relay. I don't know if you watch it, but it's very unique kind of how they skate on the inside. Then you got to time it to come around. Then you get the little push boost, and you watch it in those exchanges. That's where teams lose out, right? You make all of a sudden somebody cuts in at the last minute, or you don't make a good push exchange. Boom, you lose it. And that's what happened as Canada was able to move up, went from fourth up to second over the final few laps. And the Italians continued to do pretty well on home soil as they won gold today. Also, Cons, did you see the Pistons game last night?
Oh, I saw it. Yes, sir.
What do you make of that?
I kind of like to see it every once in a while. Show the emotion. Like, the Hornets were playing some good ball, had a long winning streak going. The Pistons weren't backing down. I saw after the Pistons head coach very defensive of his team. We didn't start it. We didn't do it. Well, you didn't back down either, right? You got into it like you should have in a competitive sport. It's not hockey where they break off and drop the mitts and it's good to go. It's a lot of scrums, and I saw a lot of kind of leaning into each other, but I don't mind it every once in a while.
And the thing I found interesting was, like, it didn't start on even like an overly serious play.
No.
Right?
I wonder if it was boiling up, maybe.
Potentially.
You got the guy leaning in, touching heads, and then obviously that's going to lead to a push away, and yeah, it kind of blew up there, but interested to see it, if we see that. I'm sure there's going to be suspensions for sure, but
like, do you think there'll be suspensions?
I kind of do. I feel like the NBA doesn't want that in their game.
Yeah,
ever since the Malice in the Palace, it's like, we don't need that. But
yeah, I think it's probably when it looked like it was died down, and then there was Bridges got into it, and I can't remember the name. Who's the guy that came off the bench? Right, that
Isaiah Stewart. Yeah, you can't do that.
No, you can't do that. But the other thing is, it was interesting. I was listening to the NBA coming in here, and they had a coach on, and he was talking about how it's the coach's responsibility to ensure that those guys don't, like, the assistant coach's responsibility. That guy can't come off the bench. And it was very interesting listening to a coach saying, I think that's actually a coaching error there. You've got to control your guys at that point. So something I hadn't thought about whatsoever, but they really both try to square off, and not a whole bunch happened. But it was a good little melee. You don't see it very often. If you missed it, it's easy. You can check it out on X. Maybe Deck will put it up on our YouTube screen right now. Like, there wasn't any like real heavy blows landed, but there was a lot of attempts. Right? Safe to say.
Yeah, and so I'm just looking up the rules here. It's an automatic 1 game suspension. It could be a fine up to $50,000.
Okay.
But another article here says it could be up to 25 games.
25?
Yeah.
Because I know in the NHL, you come off the bench, it's 10 games. 1 game seems like not enough, right? Like, the guys who are on the floor and they're involved in it, okay. But yeah, you come off the bench, especially kind of later in that sequence. That to me is the part where you're like, dude, what are you doing?
Stewart's been in at least 6 on-court confrontations. What? So, yeah, since 2023. So his history is going to probably not help him out. Lou Williams, take it for what it's worth, knows way more than I do. He thinks 20 to 25.
20 to 20.
Efficiency, yet they lead the NBA in fouls.
And see, there's a better angle from Dunk Dynasty on X, who has it, and their camera angle comes from over the Detroit bench. And so you see another Detroit coach grab the other guys to stop others from going on. And so it was it's wild. It's like, I guess I would call that a melee for sure. There wasn't a ton of actual fights. Like, there's a few attempts, like definitely some punches thrown, not many really landing. So and the one thing I will say about Isaac, I give him credit, Cons, because he rushed the floor, but he didn't just sucker the guy and jump him. He was like, game time to square up. I actually respect that a lot. He just didn't fly in and come in from the side and just start throwing haymakers when the guy's not looking. So even though he came off the bench, I will give him credit for that. Because there's like, anybody can run up and, you can look tough in a fight when you sucker someone. Right? And you come off and you sucker him and he's not prepared. And everyone's like, oh yeah, you got him really good. Yeah, he wasn't ready. He wasn't looking. So I will give him, I'll give him some credit for that. So we'll see. Hey, Greg's, I have to agree with you on the women's team. I have a daughter who plays. We followed it very closely. I was surprised that they went with such an older team. That one comes from Mac. Well, and you know what, Mac? First of all, I think it's awesome that you and your daughter are into it and you're following it, because, as you should. Like, why not, right? For young girls, that's their goal. Right? You want to play in the PWHL, you want to play for the Olympic team. Outstanding. And because see, these are the texts that I don't understand it. Hey, Greg, you don't talk about the women's sport very often. Now you're going to rip them. Looks terrible. What are you talking about? We talked about the rivalry series when the games were here. Now, two things. I would talk about the PWHL way more often. I can tell you, one of the worst leagues we have when it comes to trying to get guests on the show. Not even close. I can get more NBA or NFL guests. So we'll just start there, number one. Number two, we have talked about women's hockey for years on the show. All right, we talked about it. What did we say at the rivalry series? USA's way better. They're faster. Canada now has a chance to pick their roster differently, and they didn't. And here's the result. They're down 4-0. USA has been clearly the quicker team, just like they were in the rivalry series. So don't tell me, like, there's nothing worse than people being so thin-skinned. If we're talking about your sport, that's a good thing. The minute people don't care about your sport, that's when it's a problem. So if you only want people to talk about your sport and say, oh, everything's great and everything's rosy, there's two teams in women's hockey when it comes to the Olympics. Okay, there's two. Being second is almost by default right now. Let's call a spade a spade. Czechia, Finland, sure, you got to go out and play them, but they're not in the same stratosphere. So it's Canada versus US, and that's it. And never in the history of the rivalry series has a team been swept and gotten beaten this bad, right? Ever. So it is worthy of talking about, and it is worthy of saying, what the hell is Hockey Canada doing with their selection process? Right? What are they doing? So I would strongly disagree that if you think that we're not allowed to question or criticize the women's team. Give me a break. Flat out. Give me a break. Guys, the women's national GM preferred her Toronto Spectors players too much from Andrew. Bang on, Andrew. Bang on. Saw that. I don't think it was good. Hey guys, USA has been quicker for the past few Olympics. Canada's a huge final game team from Soft Troll. Yeah, I don't know, man. If you go and you lead up to the Olympics in 2022 and you look at the rivalry series, Canada won the last two games of the rivalry series that year. Okay. That's totally different. And they won the gold medal game. Canada beat them in the preliminary round. They had won they actually won 4 of the 6 games in the rivalry series that year. It's not even comparable to this year. It's not even comparable. Like, Canada got waxed this year. Like, when Canada beat the US in the rivalry series, think about it. 3-1 and 3-2 they won. Then USA won 3-2 and 2-0. Then Canada won 2-1 in overtime, 3-2 in overtime, then 4-2 and 3-2 at the Olympics. Every game was close. Every game. This year, the scores have been 4-1 USA on November 6th, 6-1 on November 8th. The 2 games in Edmonton, 10-4 and 4-1. And now today, it's 4-0. So I'm sorry, but it ain't comparable to past years, man. Not at all. I thought Canada was the better team in 2022. Right now, not even close. USA is just, they're way quicker. They're way quicker. So Canada, you know what? Hey, you're not going to win every time. But to me, this was noticeable, the rivalry series, and they didn't change it. And that's what's somewhat irritating about it, for sure. Let's take a quick break. We'll return. When we come back, we got Eric Erlinson will join us, Grant Fedoruk, and more on the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique family-owned independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com.
Day or night, tasting just so right. You can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca, delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order oodle noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle noodle.
I'm Colin Livingston, president of Cantork. Cantork has always been a forward-thinking company, but now that we've turned 25, I can't help but take a minute to take a look back. Thank you to everyone that's been with us along the way.
Okay, and that's another goal for Canada. You know what would be even better than winning gold?
Okay, I'll bite.
Winning a gold medal made of Wilhauk beef jerky.
Athletes do get hungry, and they could use a snack on the podium. I think I'll start a petition.
Really?
No. Now pass the Wilhauk and turn up the games.
For a truly Canadian snack to cheer on our truly Canadian athletes, you need Wilhauk beef jerky, made with Alberta pride right here in Leduc.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicked things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
Zoinks! It's like a totally Great Dane Family Day Oil Kings game.
Monday afternoon, Edmonton looks to foil the schemes of the Lethbridge Hurricanes because it's Scooby-Doo Family Day at Rogers Place.
Your Oil Kings suit up in specialty jerseys right out of the mystery machine. They'll be auctioned and raffled off in support of the Edmonton Oil Kings Education Association.
And Calmont Kids food combos are just $10 or less. Jinkies, that's better value than a box of Scooby snacks.
Oil Kings Scooby-Doo Family Day game, Monday at 2.
Great seats at Rogers Place start at only $20 at oilkings.ca.
Get ready to love your home, Canada. The Brick has the styles and the savings to make you fall head over heels. Save $1,100 on couches made for cuddling. Enjoy a romantic meal and a dining set up to 25% off. And yes, save 25% off in the bedroom, too. Plus, score up to $1,500 off the TV of your dreams. Love is in the air, and so are the savings. Only at the Brick. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, Northside, and downtown.
If I had $46,000, I'd buy a robot butler and a trampoline. And maybe a trampoline for the robot butler.
You might have a few ideas of your own. The first early bird deadline for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Dream Home Lottery is February 11th. Get your tickets now for a chance to win $46,000 and support kids across Edmonton. Buy today at bigbrothersdreamhome.org. Lottery license number 745563 and 745562. Tickets sold only within Alberta.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton. The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having fantastic Tuesday afternoon as it's time to go around the NHL. Brought to you by McDonald's, as Frank's Red Hot is bringing the heat to some of your favorite McDonald's menu items. Dip into the new Frank's Red Hot menu, only available at McDonald's. For a limited time, I can highly recommend the McChicken with Frank's Red Hot. So good. So good. Check it out right now. And speaking of so good, the Tampa Bay Lightning have been really good for the last few months. Kucherov has been absolutely ridiculous since the calendar turned to 2026. Like when you can outscore like the other elite guys in the league by 13, 14 points in 16 game stretch, that's pretty damn good. 40 points in 16 games for Kucherov in the 2026 calendar year. No one else has even 30 points. McDavid has 26. Bouchard actually has 26 in 17 games. Evan Bouchard quietly been really good as well, leading all defensemen in scoring. In the new, and you know who's second though? Darren Radish, who's having just a massive breakout season. To discuss all things Tampa Bay, we're joined by beat reporter, Lightning insider Eric Erlinson. Eric, welcome back to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm very well. Thanks for having me back. That always means I must be doing something well.
Yeah. Well, hey, you are, and the team you cover is doing a lot of things really well, from goaltending out, and probably the biggest thing is, their back end, because of the injuries to key guys, Hedman, McDonough, Cernak missed some time. And let's start with the emergence of Darren Radish. Like, this has been just a phenomenal season for a guy who I'm sure every fan in Tampa Bay is now is the only question is, what are we going to pay him on an extension?
Yeah, life-changing money, as Julien Brisebois told us back in January when he met us. It's an incredible story. It really is. I mean, even at the start of this year, he was kind of the odd man out, right? They had Max Crozier kind of coming up and making some noise on the right-hand side. And, Darren was in the lineup to start the year, and then he was out of the lineup, and then he was in and out of the lineup. And now you look at him and you go, how did they ever not put him in the lineup because of how well he's been? And look, the points are obviously there. The power play has been kind of unlocked because his ability to put pucks on net from that point position, taking passes from Nikita Kucherov and just sending bombs at net. But it's really been his play defensively that has allowed for this sort of emergence, this blossoming, if you will, for, a late bloomer to be as good as he is. I mean, the best way to kind of look at it is, in November when the Lightning were in Denver to face the Avalanche, Darren Radish was a healthy scratch. When they met last month here in Tampa, he was the matchup defenseman against Nathan McKinnon. That's how far he's come in the way he's played. His partner certainly helps in J.J. Moser, but Darren Radish is a great story. He is going to be a UFA at the end of the year. And if you're the Lightning, you kind of have to sit back and go, okay, is this the new version of Darren Radish moving forward? Is this a flash in the pan? Is he going to kind of be the guy that sort of struggled to make his way to the NHL as a 23, 24, 25-year-old? A lot of questions going on with Julian Breezeball's staff, but he's become such an important member of this team, and it was because of the injuries that opened the door, and he's kicked it down.
When you talk to him, like what clicked? Why now?
He's not even sure, Okay. I think the biggest thing he's always talked about is just the opportunity, in this organization and certainly this coaching staff, just have a way of instilling confidence in players and kind of getting the best out of them. So, it has kind of been a slow sort of ride up to where he's at now. When you think he joined the organization 4 years ago to where he is now, I just think it's because now he doesn't have to worry if he makes a mistake because he knows he's playing well. His confidence has been bigger. But he now knows that he's not going to be coming out of the lineup. And I think sometimes that helps players. I think that's been a big part of Radish this year.
I look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, and obviously Radish has played better. They brought in Moser when they traded away Sergachev, and Braden Point's obviously been out for a significant period of time. Hedman, everybody out. Like John Cooper has been an unreal coach, Eric, for a long time. Is this his best job of coaching?
I don't know how you can look at it and say it's anything other than that, right? And that's just, this is a guy who led them to 62 wins in 2019, right? And his first full year behind the bench, he took a team that was kind of in an in-between stage and took them to the first round. And the next year he had them in the Stanley Cup playoff. And but you look at the key injuries, right? It's every team has injuries. Every team deals with injuries. Remember, they didn't have Nick Paul to start the year. Right, McDonough and Hedman both went out at the same time. They both missed 30+ games. Just now, both coming back. Chernak was out for 5 weeks with a broken hand, and I don't know how you can look at this and say he's not getting the most out of his players. Especially with the injuries they've had on the back end, and if he doesn't have consideration or really be at the top of a lot of people's Jack Adams list this year, he will never win it as long as he's the head coach of the Tampa Bay Lightning.
Well, he could win it this year. Like I disagree strongly with the notion of, the team missed the playoffs last year. Now they made it. It's clearly coaching, and it's such an old, tired viewpoint in my opinion. So I look at the Tampa Bay Lightning. This job this year is really good. So Kucherov, had a little bit of a slower start, but he's been on fire lately, especially since the calendar turn, and really even without Braden Point, which puts even more illustration. This guy's right back in the Art Ross race. He's in the Hart Trophy race. Once again, is there a specific thing Tampa Bay is looking for at the deadline other than health?
I don't know. Well, health was obviously at the top of that list, right? I don't know if they've really settled on their top six forward, right? And when everybody's healthy, it's Kucherov, it's Gensel, it's Cirelli, it's Hagel, it's Point. Those are your top five. Gage Gonsalves has had a lot of time there, but you look at a guy who's offensive as Gonsalves is, and he doesn't have really good numbers offensively. Bjorkstrand hasn't kind of found that niche to kind of be that guy in the top six. So if they're looking for something, I would say it might be some guy who's a top six, preferably somebody who can take faceoffs. Might not have to be a center, but somebody that can kind of take some faceoffs. They've been, pretty poor in the circle for a good portion of the year, and they've lost some key draws at key times in games that have, it hasn't cost them, but they've felt that the faceoff losses. So those are the areas that I would look at if I'm Julian Breezeball. Can I shore up my top six, and can I find a faceoff guy?
Okay. Does the faceoff guy have to be a righty or a lefty? Does that matter?
I think they would love a righty because, the Luke Glendening's out of the organization. Obviously, Stamkos now second year out of the organization. They lost Jack Finley on waivers to St. Louis. Like Braden Point's about their only right-hand guy who takes faceoffs right now. So I think they would love it if he could be a righty.
Okay. What about backup goalie?
I think they're happy with Jonas Johansson. His numbers aren't going to jump off the page, but for those of us that watch him when he's in there on a basis. And remember, they lost Vasilevsky for about 3 weeks too, and Johansson was a guy that started every single one of those games when he was out. And he gives his team a chance. He doesn't let in a lot of soft goals. He battles, he fights. He might let in 4, but he's not going to let in that 5th kind of mentality sometimes. So I think they're happy with Johansson. They have him signed for another year. So I don't think that's an area they're necessarily looking to shore up.
Okay. Eric Erlinson joins us here on Sports 1440. What about, kind of like the depth guys in Tampa Bay? We've talked about the defense really stepping up because of the injuries, and a guy like Radish went from the press box to like the number one, and that just doesn't happen very often. And they don't need their depth scores in Tampa Bay to produce a ton, because their top guys produce a ton, which is how it should be, right? You win when your best players are your best players. It's nice to have some guys chip in here and there, and that's obviously good. But Tampa Bay is going to go as far as Kucherov and Gensel and Hagel and Point take them for sure. But what about some guys like, on the back, on the bottom end? Do you like their makeup? I know they just lost Jack Finley. Now he's only played 22 games. He got claimed by St. Louis. Do they like the makeup over their depth? Because, Eric, you've watched enough playoff runs to know you kind of need a certain type of personality in your bottom 6 in the playoffs.
Well, their third line, Yanni Gourde, Zemgus Girgensons, and Pontus Holmberg have been fantastic this year. For a checking line, and they've taken on the McKinnons, they've taken on the McDavids when they faced them, and they've done a really good job defensively against those lines, and they've really done a lot of that by spending a lot of time in the offensive zone, right? Like they work the puck so well down low. They protect Pontus Holmberg is, you watch that guy every night, and man, he's so hard to get the puck off of. And they're contributing offensively. I think Holmberg's got 8 or 9 goals. He's got a career year. Girgensons, who I think had 2 goals last year, is up to 7 or 8 himself. Yanni Gourde has 7 or 8. So they're contributing, taking advantage of some of that time they spend in the offensive zone to chip in some offense. I mean, Nick Paul, who is as versatile as they come, can play first line, second line, third line. He's basically been their fourth line center, of late. So that kind of tells you where their depth kind of is. Oliver Bjorkstrand, who's a 20-goal scorer, has been on their fourth line for the most part. So I think they're really happy with their depth. I think that they've found offensive contributions from those guys. And guys like Jacob Peltier have come up and, taken some ice time. And, so they have some good depth in the minor leagues. Well, Connor Geekie, who started the year here, is having an all-star kind of year down in Syracuse with the Crunch. He's a guy that's kind of, on the radar to find his way back up as well. So I think they're really happy with the way that the forward depth has played out this year.
Lastly, when you look at Point and Cirelli, what's the ETA on them returning?
Well, I think Point should be ready by the time they come back from the break, because he probably could have played for Team Canada. I don't know if he would have been at 100% when he was ready to come back, but he could have played maybe once you get to pass the preliminary, maybe the last preliminary game. So I think that gives an idea that he'll be close, if not ready, once we get back later this month. Cirelli, we're not 100% sure about. We believe it to be his shoulder based on the hit he took in the Stadium Series game, from Mark Kastelik against the Bruins. We don't know the degree of what that injury is. And being so close to the fact that they ruled him out pretty quickly for Team Canada kind of gives you an idea that this might not be just a 1 or a 2 week thing.
Oh, yeah. I think, obviously very disappointing for him. I understand, though, why he doesn't go, coming off of the injury and such. So what about Brandon Hagel? He had a slow start to the year, but he's really picked up and obviously got rewarded. He's going to the Olympic team. What are you expecting from him on that squad?
That guy will do anything and everything in his power to bring emotion to the game. He wears his heart on his sleeve. He loves, and the fact that he's going to have that maple leaf on his chest is just going to fuel his game even more. Obviously, he made a big statement physically in the Four Nations last year, the fight against Tkachuk. He just had the fight against Tkachuk on Thursday night here in Tampa when the Lightning and Panthers met up. He is such a passionate guy that he will be an emotional leader for that team, and that's just kind of what he brings to the ice. And on top of that, he's a 90-point guy. So, and you can put him anywhere. He can play top line. He can play bottom line. He's going to kill penalties for Team Canada as well. I love watching Brandon Hagel play because I love watching guys play with the passion that he puts out on the ice in almost every single shift. You almost have to sometimes pull him in a little bit. He has so much passion.
Eric, really appreciate your time, man. Thanks for this. Have a great day.
You too, Jason. Do well.
There you go. That's Eric Erlinson joining us from Tampa Bay. Quick break. We'll return. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
60 years ago, we started selling trucks as Western GMC Buick. Today, we are Wolf GMC Buick. We're still located on the corner of 184th Street and Stony Plain Road with the same ownership for over 2 decades. Our customers have trusted our family-owned, community-driven business. And for that, we are thankful. If you're looking for a truck or SUV, pop in and one of our seasoned professionals will get you a great deal, hassle-free. Come trust our team at Wolf GMC Buick. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
There's a lot of great seasons in Alberta. Hockey season, harvest season, the winter season, and the even more winter season. But GS Construction is already preparing for our next great season because while the city slows down, we plan ahead. Projects, people, and pipelines. Everything starts taking shape for another strong year underground. We're also getting ready for our next hiring season in March. We want new people who want to build something that lasts. For more on us and to apply, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. Heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice, Canadian-born, blending since 1999.
Shoulder pain. It can make even the simplest things like reaching up, lifting a bag, brushing your teeth, or sleeping frustrating. Rotator cuff strains, impingement, arthritis, they're some of the most common issues we treat every day. I'm Grant Fedoruk, and at Leading Edge Physio, our team brings postgraduate training, evidence-based technology, and just the right amount of humor and humility to help you feel better. Because we never forget the most important part, the gratitude we feel for every patient who allows us the opportunity to care for them. Because life shouldn't hurt. When it does, leadingedgephysio.com.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans, stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Do you listen to sports radio at work? Like right now? Well, do you?
Who, me? No way. I swear.
Okay, friend, we won't tell. Tens of thousands of sports fans listen to Sports 1440 each and every day. On the radio, on the listening apps, on YouTube, and on social media. If you listen to Sports 1440 at work, well, maybe it's time to advertise on Sports 1440 at work. Grow your business. Get your name out there. Shoot our ad team an email. Gregor at sports1440.ca. Let's get to work for you.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. We treat pain and injuries head to toe and some other issues that might surprise you, like incontinence, vertigo, neuropathy, and cognitive issues. We invest in the technology, techniques, skills, and people who know how and what to fix. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
The Jason Gregor Show. The best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Tuesday afternoon. Not a great day for the Canadian women. They get shut out 5-0 against the USA. So they've been outscored now, going back to the rivalry series, which happened in November, December. 29-7. it's domination right now for Team USA. This is a major wake-up call. And there were people who cover the women's game a lot closer than I do who had questioned the strategy of picking the team and how they play. And there was probably too much of a Toronto Spectre influence. And that is coming to fruition because they are not nearly as fast as Team USA. It's not close. USA went with got a younger team on average. They're good. Don't get me wrong. They still got some veteran players, but they brought in some youngsters and Canada didn't. And USA, anybody who watched that game today, if that was your first time watching, be like, why is the USA way better? That's what you'd come away with. There's nothing else you can come away with. They are the better team right now. And Canada's likely going to need a miracle in the gold medal game. That's where the gap is between these two teams right now. And, if any of the announcers try to make excuses, it's just excuses. The fact is they did not pick the best team. And right now, Team USA is dominating them. So they're going to have to regroup. They probably, from an Olympic standpoint, like I hope they win the gold medal, of course. But that it would be a monumental upset. And in one game or anything can happen. But this has been 5 games now, and none of them have been close. So that's not a good look. Now, let's get to our injury report brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. Injuries shouldn't hurt, right? Life hurt, doesn't want to slow you down. Leading Edge Physio. You want to be treated just like a professional athlete to get you back to running, to walking, to swimming, playing with your grandkids. They'll do it all. LeadingEdgePhysio.com. As Grant Fedoruk joins us once again. Grant, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing great. I can't complain.
Awesome. Lots to discuss. First of all, what's the difference between a ruptured ACL and a torn ACL? Is there any difference?
No. Well, sure. You can have different varying degrees of a tear. No different than a tear in a piece of cloth, right? You can tear it a little bit or a lot. A rupture, there's nothing holding on anymore. You can have a first degree tear, just a small amount of the ligament is damaged, up to a second degree partial thickness tear where only part of the ligament is torn, to a full thickness tear where it's barely hanging on by a thread, all the way to a rupture where there's nothing hanging on anymore at all. That's basically the tear rupture discussion.
Yeah. Okay. So she had a rupture, so it was pretty much gone. She comes out of the gate 9 days afterwards. She competing at the Olympics in a sport that is like kamikaze, right? It's crazy, man. I was chuckling watching the Olympic sports compared to the summers. Like you got to be a little bit more of a lunatic to be in the Winter Olympics in a lot of their sports. But so she comes out of the gate. I know, unfortunately, she clips her right hand on the gate, and that sends her tumbling. And then she ends up breaking a tibia. But for her to compete, Grant, without an ACL, can you explain how it's possible? Like, I'm assuming there's a brace involved here. What goes into that?
So the only reason it's possible for somebody like her, let's be blunt, it's got to be somebody with phenomenal athletic ability and strength to make up for the deficiencies of the ACL. The ACL is like the seatbelt of the knee. I mean, it's keeping your knee from being unstable. It's one of the more important stability mechanisms of the knee. So she was kind of riding without a seatbelt. But to make up for that, she has massive strength in her quadriceps hamstring, those stabilizing muscles. And she must not have been showing any signs of instability. You can have a tear without giving away an instability. They don't all need to be operated on. But at that level of performance, a knee brace is going to make up for some of the instability and provide a little bit of an external seatbelt than an internal one. But at the end of the day, I mean, at that level, I'm surprised. I don't know. I'm not going to speak to her medical professionals. They all worked with her and were standing there and the ones doing the determination as to whether she could train or not, or race or not. But there's no question I'm surprised. That's for sure.
Yeah. Would a brace help that much in that instance?
Yeah. I mean, it does play a big role. The braces today, these carbon fiber braces, do prevent the translation of the tibia on the femur. That's what they're designed to do. So they are like putting on a seatbelt, an actual one. So they can play a big role for sure. doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you're missing one little component, a very important one, and you're going very fast at a very you called it kamikaze. It's a little more controlled than that, and it requires very minute and fast, rapid changes in order to make it all the way down the hill. And so without that little piece of extra, not extra, of what the rest of us have anyways, if you've got an intact ACL, without that, it definitely put her at risk. No doubt.
Well, the other thing is, though, you also, like, I think downhill skiers, like, they're able to push through the fear. There's got to be some fear every time you're flying down a mountain at that speed, no question. Like, obviously, you have a little bit of a thrill seeker in you, but it does show you, the mental toughness to block out things and just say, you know what, I'm going. Because, like, it wasn't like you're racing on a flat surface or anything. Like, this is, you're flying down a hill literally at a super steep grade. And to me, the mental fortitude without an ACL to say, yeah, I'm doing this, that's pretty impressive.
It is. There's no question about it. And she's done it before. And she's also known for having a, win or lose kind of personality. Like, I'm going to either go down the fastest or I'm going to crash. I'm going to live on that edge, which is what's made her so successful, frankly. But we're talking, I don't know that the average person actually grasps the speeds we're talking. Is like 130 kilometers an hour, and up to 153. The men are going up to, like, the fastest downhill skiers going 153 kilometers an hour. Sit in the back of a truck and see how good you feel and how confident you are holding on to a back of a truck at 150 kilometers an hour. Yeah. Now just strap some skis to your feet and you got to turn and you fly. That's the other thing, Jason. Like, she was in the air. Like, that's the other thing. That still, I got to say, we won't ever know. Because unfortunately, at the end of that thing, what actually happened was she clipped the gate.
Yeah, with her hand,
which turned her in the air. So I can't even say that the ACL was the reason. So I'm just saying it definitely increased the risk. That's for sure.
Now, you watch it. I know you've worked with Olympians and lots of different high level athletes, and like the different sports and what their body needs to be fine tuned to work. Like, I watched the moguls, and you're going on those bumps, and like the knees. Like, how can someone train their knees to absorb that much shock? And how much is it in their knees and their ankle flexion and their hips? Like, what goes into something like that, just from a training perspective, and then maybe even like a preventative maintenance so you don't get tight at the wrong time?
Yeah, so these athletes, and I have treated them, freestyle, slopestyle, moguls, all of them. Now, these athletes, we're talking about training from a very young age. Their bodies are adapted and ready for this. They've been doing it for a long time. Flexibility plays a huge role. There's no question about it. Their training is incredible. Aerials, like what they do to train for aerials, training onto giant, some launching into water, some launching into these giant kind of bags that they land on in order to practice. But you put all of that together, it doesn't matter the amount and the level at which they're putting themselves through those kind of forces. There is no question in my mind that at some point their body is going to pay the price for it. It is, because it is taking all of their joints to the maximum range that they can. Their ligaments are stressed at a regular time. They are sustaining injuries through their training. It just happens. So I'd be surprised to come across an Olympic mogul skier, freestyle, slopestyle, that doesn't have some issues later in their career. But all of us do, Jason. I mean, I didn't play anywhere near the level of activities or sports that these guys did, but I played a lot. And I'm the average Joe, and I'm paying the price for it later on. So, they just are doing it at a much higher level, much faster. It's amazing to watch. But definitely they have to train for it. And when they're training for it, they're pushing themselves pretty hard.
You mentioned that, anybody who plays athletics, it's something, sometimes you might pay the price for it later on. Maybe you have like a bum shoulder or wrist or whatever, it can go anywhere for different reasons. Have you learned, because you've been doing this now for, I think, close to 20 years, if not more. Have you learned like some of the better preventative movements that the average person should be doing on a daily basis that will help limit them later in life having pain and discomfort?
Yeah, it's a great question, Jason. 26 years. And in my 26 years, even the evidence has changed. The approach to training, the approach to warm up has even changed. There was a time when static stretching was the way to go, right? You sat there in the dressing room on the floor, if you're a hockey player, stretching before you went out on the ice. Now you look at what they do. They get out there, they get their cardio up, they start moving first. Then you see it's more of a dynamic warm up. They're moving the joints through a range of motion in a dynamic way in order to get the best they possibly can, while doing static stretching and maintaining or giving themselves as much flexibility as possible. And that does help to prevent injuries down the road. So to answer your question, there's a bunch of things. Number one, don't pick up a sport and start trying to do it like you've been doing it for 100 years. You want to ease your way into it. You can't just, even if you're great at a racket sport, let's say it's tennis, doesn't mean you can just go and start playing squash. It doesn't translate identically over to a new sport. So you want to pick it up in small bits. You want to start doing that activity a little bit, take breaks in between so that your tissues have a chance to adapt. Warm-ups are key. Cardiovascular warm-up before you do anything gives your body a huge advantage. You're basically turning up the temperature in your whole body and making it more pliable to the activity that you're doing. So that's a really big one. And then again, I'm a big promoter of dynamic warm-ups where you're actually getting the tissues moving. You see them now jumping, doing jumping jacks, those kind of things, swinging their legs through range, arm twirls, all of that. That's the better way for us to approach a warm-up, and it can lead to lower injury. But I mean, the sport you're playing, it still depends on what you're doing. There are definitely some sports though that are, less likely to lead to injury. Those are the ones I focus on these days, Jason.
Yeah. And that's fair. Pickleball, right? A big pickleballer.
Yeah, but there's lots of pickleball injuries too. We're seeing quite a few because a lot of people are just picking up the sport and thinking, well, this is a little, I think it's a mental part of it too. I always talk about the biopsychosocial approach, which is you got to look at the entire thing. Just because it seems like it's something simple doesn't mean you shouldn't warm up or take it seriously. So I talk about somebody who's hasn't done much. They go out with their kid and they decide to kick a soccer ball around. And it might be something simple. They step backwards and they tear their Achilles. It can happen in anything. Just don't take any activity that you're doing, especially if you're in a sport, and do a proper warm up. There's no question that's going to help out.
Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio joins us. Grant, I want to ask about players. There's certain different injuries, and I want to quickly go to the Edmonton Oilers. Adam Henrique broke his index finger, and he broke it. If you can see where I'm pointing, just above the knuckle, right in between the two knuckles. So it comes back from that. He says it's fine. Is there any, coming off of knee injury sometimes, but something like that on your finger, should there be any sort of real lingering effects from something like that?
That's a proximal phalanx, and if it's away from the joint and it's just in the middle of the actual bone, then really it's immobilized, and because it's immobilized, it has to go through a healing process. Small bones heal pretty quick. That's the neat thing about the hand and the fingers. They typically do mend fairly quickly, like 2 to 3 weeks, the bone is mended. So you're not immobilized for a long period. So really, as long as the joint wasn't affected, if your knuckles or your joints of your hand, when they're affected, it's a little bit tougher because you lose the range of motion, the capsule kind of gets tight, and you have to gain that range of motion back, and it can be quite uncomfortable too when you get it back. But if it's in the middle of the phalanx and the range of motion came back fast, I'll be frank, I doubt there's going to be any lingering effects from something like that.
Okay. And lastly, on as we're now into the slippery season.
Yeah.
And there's lots of people, I've seen it, man. The other day it was I saw 3 people wipe out just coming out of the hockey rink. Do you have any advice on best things to do to prevent injuries when slipping on ice?
Well, first of all, try not to. So footwear is huge. Prevention is everything. Be aware of your surroundings. Look for ice, look down, look up, be aware. That's a huge one. Footwear is big. Running shoes are not the best thing out there right now. Running shoes have no grip whatsoever. Flats are bad. So wear a proper shoe. If you don't have a proper shoe, be even more aware of your surroundings walk like a penguin. I think this is everybody will get a kick out of this, and I talk about this all the time. Get a wider base of support. Your feet are a little bit more spread. Their toes are turned out. Your knees are bent. Your hands are out a little bit. That gives you the best balance, and it's less likely. Guys and girls out there, whoever's listening, it might look silly, but you know what's worse is recovering from a fall. So take the little bit of looking silly on that ice and walking a little gingerly. Also, I would say the number one thing I've seen is when I talk about being aware of your surroundings, I've seen this quite a bit this winter. It happens when you least expect it. Think about when you get out of your car. So you park and you don't know what that surface is quite yet because you're not walking around and looking around, and somebody gets out of their car, they put their foot down and they step and boom. And let me tell you, I've seen some pretty big injuries because it's not just the slip and the fall. Now you've got a door in the way and you've got the ledge of your car. So I've seen some pretty good ones. So those are the ones that you got to watch out for. When you first walk out of a door, you don't know what the surface is like. Give it a good look, make sure that it's safe. If you're walking on a skiff of snow, kick the snow a little bit because you want to know what's underneath it. It's not always perfectly, it's not, snow gives you a little bit of grip.
Yes.
But underneath, if you've got ice, it's a false security, and down you go. Other thing, Jason, last thing is if you do fall, protect your head. We can fix everything else. I want to be I don't want you to injure things, but if you're going to injure something, injure anything, but don't injure your head. I've seen very traumatic, and we're talking about fatal injuries from falls where people actually hit their head and sadly, they don't survive the fall. So protect your head. Your head is the most important thing in a fall. Tuck your chin, make sure you don't hit your head. Anything else you do is better than hitting your head.
Yeah, that makes sense. Good advice. Grant, great stuff, buddy. Enjoy the Olympics.
Oh, every day, every minute, the TVs are on full blast in every clinic. We've got patients who won't leave the clinics because they want to see the last draw, and they want to see the last turn. So if you're at a leading edge clinic, maybe just stand and watch the TV so we can get the next patient in.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Take care.
That's Grant Fedoruk from Leading Edge Physio. And so ruptured ACL. And, Lindsey Vaughn, to me, it was, and I love what Grant said there. He goes, no one knows if the ACL was, you'll never know if that limited her from getting down because the crash happened with her right hand, unfortunately hitting the gate, and that sent her flying. Crazy stuff. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. It's our inbox. You can always text us or call us at that number. We're going to get more on the orders on the Olympics. We got a lot of texts coming in, a little bit of concern on the women's team, and rightfully so. It's not looking great right now for them. Obviously, they're going to get a medal. That's no brainer, but it's kind of gold or bust for Canada in hockey, especially on the women's side when there's two really competitive teams, and that's it. And right now, USA is dominating to the point we've never seen before. Never. I outscored them 29-7 in their last 5 games. Ouch. Let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. When they say they're on the road together, they mean it. From tires, wheels, oil changes, and vehicle repairs. They do it all. Visit FountainTire.com.
The Sports 1440 update.
Over in Italy, Canada picked up their 3rd medal of the game's first silver in short track speed skating mixed team relay and moguls. Play Bear McKell Kingsbury East through qualifying. They'll head to the finals on Friday. Elliott Valancourt will also compete Friday in the second qualifying round for a chance to advance. And on the ice, Canadian women falling to the United States 5-0. Up next for Canada will be the Finns, 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. In the association tonight, just 4 games. Pacers in New York. The Rockets host the Clippers. Mavs taking on the Suns. And Wemby and the Spurs in LA for a matchup with the Lakers. In the AJ tonight, 1 game. Drayton Valley hosting Camrose at 6. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by our co-host, Terry Ryan. Look around the NHL with Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM, and we'll hear Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
It's Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. Celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Hey Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score
Tuesday
with Mr. Dirk.
Afternoon. How are
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks. Ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters
Connor,
of
Halley
design,
Sports.
build, sketching
Selling
strategy
trucks.
from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A pizza my heart will certainly do. Nothing says I love you quite like a Papa John's pizza. This Valentine's week, enjoy a special Pizza My Heart thin cuts pizza from Papa John's for only $17.99. Check it out at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. We don't want to break your heart, so the pizza arrives uncut. Available for a limited time only. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Culligan. For all your residential water needs, your local water treatment company, more than just big bottles, Culligan.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
After 3 o'clock, man, short track speed skating has some wild crashes. Oh my goodness. You got to have big boards around there, but there is some spectacular crashes. And that's what makes it entertaining. Like, it sucks for the athletes, don't get me wrong, but like, you are literally flying and just one little misstep, you come around that corner, and we've seen it many times, and you go crashing into those boards. Not the boards, thank God. There's a lot more give in those. If that was a board like in hockey, like, you'd have massive injuries, massive, because there's no give. There's at least some give there, and it is they go in there at full speed, man. I don't know what the speed was for that last crash, but my goodness, like, they are flying, absolutely flying when you come around those corners sometimes, and that's what makes it entertaining. That's what makes it entertaining. No question about it. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And remember, it is Lotto Max Day today. $40 million estimated up for grabs tonight in Lotto Max. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. While you're there, of course, you can get in on the Jason Gregor Show specials that we have daily. Little Raptors. Are the Raptors and the Pistons? Are the Pistons going to be fired up after their mini little melee brawl there last night? We'll see. But two good teams going at it tonight. So we'll see and see where that goes. Let's welcome in to the show former NHLer, stars his hitch on Shoresy. Terry Ryan joins us. TR, how you doing?
Not bad. Can you hear me fine?
I can hear you just fine.
Okay, good. Getting a new setup and just making sure I got a new microphone and.
Buddy, it sounds fantastic. What is that? What is that Americans jersey behind you? What is that? Rochester?
Tri-Cities. That's the
Tri-Cities.
old. That's my favorite. Tri-Cities always have great gear, even the ones now. What's that?
I don't remember that with the Eagle. Is that like a special one, or was that the
No.
regular season one?
That one. So those were done before my first year in Tri-Cities was the first year they wore them.
Oh,
And they
okay.
were done before I was done. So maximum 5-year span. I love their jerseys now, but I always did. They started oddly enough because they came over from New Westminster Bruins. So it was the Tri-City Americans. So you would think red, white, and blue right off the bat, but they weren't if you look into it. A lot of Edmontonians played there when they were black, yellow, and white. And so we were the first iteration that wore the red, white, and blue.
Yeah. When you look at that, like you say, that was your favorite, probably because it's the one you played in. And but you know what? Like everybody's gonna have favorite jersey. We could do a whole segment one day just on, different unis for different teams at all different levels. That you look and say, now everybody's gonna have a bias because if it's a team you cheer for or a team you played for, usually you like the jersey at some point, right? Just naturally. And then some teams you played against that you hated, it's going to be really hard for you to like their unis.
Yeah, I've often wondered that myself as well. I love that jersey, and it's one of the nicest major junior jerseys there's ever been. But of course, I got great memories. I mean, I joke about it sometimes, but I got drafted in the NHL with some buddies that we didn't know what we were going to do the year before, man. We had no idea. Playing video games. Hopefully we win a game in Seattle. What about the NHL draft? I don't know. I mean, hopefully we go, but there's all kinds of players, and you do all that together. And so it just means a lot. Now, that being said, I think we did it in style. Here, I'll bring it. Oh, where is it? Over here? Here you go. Look. Close up. See that symbol?
Oh, yeah.
Pretty unique. Now, they didn't stray too far from that. They never strayed too far from that, but that itself lasted for 4 years, and then they went with the arm patch. But I still enjoy it, and I love the area. I'm going back again soon. Get back once in a while. Last year, myself and John Nasty Marasti, who's also in Shoresy as one of the gyms, he also played in Tri-Cities, little known fact. And we go back here and there. It's just a great spot to be.
And then is that other jersey your last professional jersey?
It's Newfoundland Growlers. Yeah, that's the actual one I wore in the game. And I've seen them online, and I'm like, someone's getting ripped off because I know that that's the jersey. And you know what?
So people are claiming online that they have the Terry Ryan
I've
game
seen it.
worn.
I've seen it.
Do you ever comment on it and say, I have the jersey at home, this is a fake?
Yeah.
Oh,
I
okay.
have. Well, I have because I don't want people to get ripped off. I know the one I wore. There's also a black one going around. And they're like, well, this was the two. I'm like, no, I didn't. I played one game, so I couldn't have worn the black one. But I go to a lot of people order it, right? Like, it's funny given that one game stint, but it's my home and like it's, the picture. So a lot of people have, like, we go to the Shoresy games and I wouldn't know. I've signed dozens at this point. So it must get ordered. But it's funny because I'll tell you the reason I have this was Matt Cook, the coach. And I played against him, and he, a lot of any NHL fan, big fan would know who he is. And love him or hate him, good guy. He had me down there for the game. He didn't have to play me. He didn't, like I said, he didn't have to put me in the lineup. Toronto weren't happy about it. Like, they didn't know about it. They thought it was some kind of birthday promotion, kind of side scam, and it wasn't. But he put it away because he said, "I know what it meant to you and everything." It was at the end of the year. He said, "Okay, I got it here. I put it away for you. They were going to take it, but you're going to have the only jersey that you actually wore. And I went down. He didn't tell me either for a few months because he wasn't sure he could get it. But sure enough, and I'll never get rid of it. I don't care what they offer me.
Well, yeah, some things you want to keep for sure. That makes perfect sense. Have you been watching the Olympics closely?
I've watched some of the Olympics now. I don't know if I missed the girls' game earlier. I just saw the score.
You didn't miss much, unfortunately. Yeah, you basically. I don't know if you watched much of the rivalry series, which is a great series. It's been awesome for years, but
yeah,
this is the first time that it was dominated by the U.S. 4-1, 6-1, 10-4, 4-1, and they continued that today, defeating them 5-0. And Canada is going to need they're going to need Poulin back for sure.
Yeah,
for the gold medal game, and then they're going to need their goalie's going to have to stand on her head, or they're going to have to get a little bit of luck because right now USA just when you outscore a team 29-7 over 5 games, you're clearly the better team.
Yeah, over 5 games for sure. Anything can happen in a one-off. Just like there you go with the NFL. You can often get a team that squeaks in or has a lucky schedule or whatever it might be. I know to get to the Super Bowl, obviously you have to have some cachet, but I'm saying that in those one game and out, anything can happen. But over the course of, that's why hockey, usually the better team wins. Sometimes it's game 7 overtime and wow. But usually, even if it's game 7, look at the Leafs and the Panthers, went 7, but the Panthers were clearly the better team. And 2 of those games clobbered them last year. And so, but over the course, this 29-7, 5 games, I'm going, okay, we need to change things up because we're just not as good of a team. We can't be. No. So we gotta use systems accordingly because we're just not going to beat them straight up.
Yeah. Well, when you look at the teams right now, USA is just quicker. All over the eye. And it's been that it's not like, maybe you have one game and you're not feeling your legs. And that happens, right? In every sport, we've seen good teams not look good for a game or two. That's fine. But when I look at these games, USA has just been way quicker. It's really it's surprisingly, I've never seen a gap this much between these two. They've been pretty even, right? Yeah. Canada would always, but US, they'd win 2-1 or, the games would be close and they'd be right in there. These games aren't close, Terry. This is the women's program is going to this will be some soul searching for sure. And I think there's going to be significant changes. I know I had read lots of stories from others who cover the team a lot closer than I do, but in the games I watch, you see 5 games, you can get a good enough location because really, no offense, those are really the only games that matter for Team Canada. How they play against Finland and everybody else doesn't really matter because we know they're better. You get to the US, that's your barometer, that's your measuring stick. And most years it's back and forth. And sometimes a team might win 3 games in a row, but they're all super close games, right? Maybe you just know how to win better. This year, the games haven't been close. They have been clearly the least skilled of the two.
Now, I'm ignorant to this, and I shouldn't be, but did they pick straight from pro hockey? Like the women, they pick straight from the PWHA? Well, are there huge stars in college that are playing?
You could have had some there, but for the most part, they're picking the girls who are playing the PWHL right now. Right now, you could have I'd have to double check on USA. I think USA might have one, but because you have some younger girls playing now, but Canada didn't really go with a very young team at all. I don't even think they have a skater under the age of 24. I know one of their goalies, she's 23, turns 24 later this month, but they don't Celebrini made it in the men's program.
That's exactly where I was going with that. I was going with, because and you can tell, the NHL has just been around longer. There's more games. There's way more scouting done. So I can understand how that gets selected just straight from the league. Right. And the only one that I ever know of, and I still remind people that Eric Lindros played on the team when it was the Canada Cup and he was not in the NHL. That was amazing. People forget how good he was. And I always remind people, I don't know anybody else that did it. That way to play on actual men's NHLers Team Canada. But for the women, that's why I was curious. And I try to pay attention. I got friends in the league. I watch some of the PWHL and I'm really trying to watch more and more because it's nice to be educated on it. I mean, we go cheer for these women and it's really entertaining, just so much to do, but I think they deserve that support. But I didn't know how they picked the squad because just deducing in my mind, the league is very young, the PWHL, and there must be stars like Celebrini on the way up, and they tend to stay in college until it's over because getting a degree is massive. So I know on the women's, more so say than on the men's, a lot of people come over Celebrini, but some people, I don't know, Ryan Green, a buddy of mine, plays in Chicago now from Newfoundland. I don't think he went the full way and got his 4 years. Maybe he did, but a lot of people don't. But the women, they tend to do that. That's why I was curious, because what you're saying, 29-7 means that USA are better. So now, are there any snipes out there, or it doesn't have to be a sniper? Are there any big prospects in either position that we may be overlooked? Because otherwise, they're just better, and we're going to have to figure it out.
Well, the USA is a younger team. They have 7 of their players who are still in college, and Canada has none. And so they went with a younger team, man. And Canada left out like Danielle Serdachny, who was great at the World Championships. I know she's not having a great PWHL or start to her career there, but the World Championship, she was unreal. And, she can really move, but she didn't make the team. And now she does play in the PWHL, so that's not even in college. And here's the thing. I looked it up. In 2013, Canada had 86,000 girls playing hockey. In 2025, there's 115,000. It's been a 30% increase.
Man.
So there's massive growth in the Canadian, girls playing hockey now. Now, that doesn't mean they're all going to be elite level players. I understand that. But the more you have better opportunities to find other young stars. And, the U.S. decided to give their young players more of an opportunity here. And I think it's been noticeable, whereas Canada didn't. And this is not the first time it's happened. It won't be the last. I think you could argue that like the men's program in 2006, that's what they did. They kept their World Cup team from 2004, right, to 2006, and it didn't work. And, we'll see this year if the Canadian men don't win, there'll be a lot of people saying, hey, why'd you go with the exact same 8 defensemen when there were some other defensemen younger who are better puck movers that you could have picked to make that team, right? So, we'll see now. If they win, it won't matter. And I think they might not because they're probably the heavy favorite. But they did get Celebrini, so they did not completely ignore youth. But the Canadian women's program, and this is not me. This is not like people. I was reading articles before the Olympics, and everybody who saw the Summit Series said, like, right now, Canada's not close to the USA. And today just kind of showed that.
So if the enrollment increased by 30%, so what you're saying is registration increased and talent didn't, basically, right?
Yeah,
unless we're overlooking people that are,
or the talent just didn't get the opportunity this time, right? Like sometimes, Sidney Crosby, right? I'm not saying there's a Sidney Crosby in the women's league that didn't get picked, but Sidney Crosby didn't get picked in 2006, right? So Hockey Canada doesn't always make the right decision in their evaluations. That's all I'm saying.
It's also the last thing I'll reiterate, if I've even said it, I don't recall. The PWHL is young, and there's way less games, so it's hard. Like there could be players that are not buried, but maybe we'll get a more of an opportunity soon that we don't really know, that haven't really broken out yet because they're still looking for placement. They're young per se in the league. That might be happening as well. I say of it, like if there's one thing about the NHL, you usually have a good idea. I mean, 84 games now. I mean, come on, right? By the end, you generally have a good idea. But things sometimes happen. Some kids in their draft year, right, might not play on the first 2 lines, but it's 1 year and you don't really know, right? That's why some scouts are very impressive that way because they know the talent going in. But so I think that might be something as well. A lot of things in the women's game, other than the Olympics and the World Championships, are really young in the way they're going about things, whether it's pro or whether it's Hockey Canada. And I don't know, like panic button, I don't know about, but 5-0 when in the history says that it's usually tit for tat, flip of a coin, Canada, US. Now this looks like a bit lopsided, and hopefully that's not the case going forward.
Jason Gregor, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440. We'll take a quick break. Dave McCarthy joins us next. It's a Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Japa Machinery Group knows that XCMG may not roll off the tongue, but Japa's team will help keep your construction jobs rolling on time and on budget with heavy equipment sales and rentals. Visit japamachinery.com to find out more.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939, we're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Sometimes you think about what you're going to do in the day. Go to work, pick up the kids from school, make supper. But at GS Construction, we think a little differently. Winter is our season to think, to plan, and to improve. We study, we innovate, we train. So when the thaw comes, we're ready to dig, build, and deliver even better, which means we need people like you. If you're thinking about joining the team at GS Construction, now is the time to do it. To apply and to see how we think, visit gsconstruction.ca.
Planning your next event? Let Loca Quality Market cater. From made-to-order meals to gourmet platters to full chef tasting experiences, they make entertaining effortless. Visit loca.ca to start planning today.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5 plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at edmontonexpocenter.com today.
Made for some rough roads, but it means trails are now packed and ready for action. Don't miss out on riding adventures this winter with a Ski-Doo from Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo. Work or play with new 2026 Generation 5 models with class-leading design and power. And right now, take advantage of 5.99% financing OAC. Only at Riverside Honda and Ski-Doo, 15 Inglewood Drive in St. Albert, and always at riversidehonda.com. Shop local, shop Canadian.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL. Get your power play amped up with EWEL, supplying the City of Champions and Alberta with quality electrical gear since 1975. EWEL.ca is your partner in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Three 25. Welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Now, if you're looking for something, because, man, I will say this. I love the passion of Oilers fans. Unfortunately, there's a small percentage of them that they hear something and they just repeat it and repeat it and repeat it and believe it. And it's like you want to believe it into existence. And I wrote the article today and I outlined the Oilers versus all the other 8 teams in the West who have 60 points. Those are the teams I think are competing for a playoff spot. And I went through all the forwards. I looked at ice time, looked at production. And then I even compared it to last year's Oilers production in their bottom 6. And trust me, you can, I'm sorry, but Derek Ryan could not be more incorrect with his claim that, well, you know what, they're not playing enough. Go look at all the other teams. Go look at the article and then look at the bottom 8 forwards, because there's always a few substitutes. Some guys play 30 games. So I included anybody who played at least 20 games. Okay? Well, and Kapanen because he played 19. And go look at that. The Oilers are not the only team whose bottom guys are playing between 10 to 12 minutes. That's really what a lot of it is. Matt Savoy's production, fine. Matt Savoy has basically replaced Connor Brown's production. I think he's a rookie. It's pretty good. Right, Kapanen, when healthy, he's been pretty good. But you go Trent Frederick's production, terrible. Henrique, not even close to what he was at last year. And he's only played about and keep in mind, I know, but he got hurt, Gregor. Doesn't matter. Go look at his first 42 games. He had 2 goals. Okay. He was on pace for 4. Actually, below 4. If he would have played all year. That's what he's on pace for. He hasn't played well. Janmark had 2 goals last year. He's got 1 this year. The guy's got 7 goals in his last 193 games. He's playing 12 minutes a night. Go show me other forwards playing 12 minutes a night who have 1 goal. Honestly, go show me how many. Right? Ross Johnston of Anaheim has played 54 games. He averages 9 minutes a night. He has 13 points. You think he's getting some shifts with McDavid and Draisaitl? No, because the Ducks don't have McDavid or Draisaitl. And he's not getting a ton of shifts on their top line either. But the guy has 13 points. More than Frederick, more than Henrique, more than Janmark, more than Lazar, more than Mangiapane. Come on, he's playing 9 minutes. The Oilers' depth guys aren't doing enough in the minutes they're getting. Full stop. Now, you can go read the article. It breaks down every team. You can see it side by side because I wanted people I build a chart so every time the Oilers numbers repeat so you can see how do they do against Seattle? How do they compare against LA? How do they compare against Vegas? And we'll go into it later on in the show. But I'm telling you, don't buy the narrative that, coach isn't giving them opportunity. If they had more opportunities, they'd be scoring way more. Wrong. Totally disagree. Trent Frederick he played 12 minutes a night in the first 2 months, had 2 goals, no assists. Are you supposed to, as a coach, just keep playing the guy when he's doing nothing? At some point, you got to do something. Kapanen, when he's in there, he does something. Savoy does something. Right, guys are doing it. Jack Rosovic's done it. No problem with them. But you just got too many guys shooting blanks. Frederick, Henrique, and Janmark have combined for 138 shots on goal this year. They have 5 goals. Okay? Henrique averages 13.50 a game. Janmark plays 12.05 a game, and Frederick is down to 10.47 because he was at 12 for the first 2 months, but obviously his ice time's gone down as his play hasn't really gone up. I don't buy for a moment Derek Ryan's assertion that it's the coach's fault because he's not giving him opportunity. Strongly disagree. Now, let's go in the room, brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action with your savings. You've been thinking about it. I know you have. Do I want to get solar? Should I not? Well, contact Action. They can walk you through the whole process, show you the grants. You can also get interest-free loans courtesy of the government. They can help you out, and you get on the road to savings at actionelectrical.net. As Dave A. McCarthy from Sirius XM joins us. Davey, how you doing?
I'm good. Boys, what's going on? Fired up there, but I can't say I disagree with what you had to say, Jason. I mean, you get that kind of time. You get, Trent Frederick. This has been a disaster, quite frankly, for the Edmonton Oilers, given the fact that they've locked in long-term at this point to a deal of that nature, and to get that lack of production from him at this point is just no good. He's had more than enough time to have more than 2 goals through this point in the season. And then at some point it comes down to the old, what comes first, the ice time, play me more and I'll play better. The coach says, well, play better and I'll play you more. I think it's more at the latter right now. When you're getting 10 to 12 minutes, you have 2 goals through 50 plus games. I'm sorry. That's not enough. That's not enough. There needs to be more production there. So it becomes very tantalizing then when you have guys like Hyman and McDavid and Draisaitl and Nuge to lean on them more when you're getting but nothing from guys down your lineup. I don't see how, especially given the position that the Oilers are in right now, where they're not home and cleared. They need the points. It's not cruise control. So they're going to the guys that they know are going to produce, because the guys that have been given chances down the lineup, which I completely agree, have shown themselves not to be up to the task to this point.
Yeah. And the thing is, the truth of the matter is depth guys don't get that many more minutes. Like I went through every team with 60 points in the Western Conference, right? It's not like the Oilers guys like Janmark at 12:05. I couldn't find another player who had one goal playing that many minutes. Like nobody. So like he can't complain about lack of opportunity. I just I don't buy it. What do you make? Let's switch to the Olympics and Celebrini, Wilson, and McDavid. Looks like they'll get a run. And you got McKinnon and Crosby centering their own lines. What do you make of that?
Yeah, a lot of talk about taking Sidney Crosby out of the middle of the ice. To me, that makes no sense. The guy is as defensively conscious a center as there is in the NHL. And so with the embarrassment of riches that Canada has offensively, I think Sid is at the point where the only thing that matters to him is winning, and to put him in a role where you can use him in a matchup situation as a centerman on a line that John Cooper is clearly very comfortable with putting up against other teams' best players, to me makes a lot of sense. And then you can shift some of the defensive burden away from a young player in Macklin Celebrini, who's 19, that you probably don't want to put in high leverage situations starting in his own end. And it frees Connor McDavid up to do what he does best offensively. Don't mire him in the muck of having to grind it out against other teams' top players starting in the defensive zone all the time. If you've got the personnel that can handle those minutes, probably still chip in. Let's be honest. You think Sid's not going to chip in throughout the course of the tournament? Not a chance. Of course he is. But then it unleashes Connor McDavid to be in the position where he is at his best, which is the best offensive player on the planet right now, along with a guy that you probably don't want to burden with those defensive responsibilities, and a guy in Tom Wilson who can flat out fly. The guy can skate. He can keep up with Connor and Macklin to an extent. He's got hands around the net. He's a different element to that line. He'll be physical. He'll get to the net. He'll retrieve pucks. I think, to me, that makes a lot of sense.
TR?
Oh, I was going to ask, do you make anything of Canada going on their own in their hotels and staying out of Olympic Village? Do you make anything of that? And by extension, having a closed practice, does any of that stuff matter, you think?
When it comes to the hotels, that's honestly up to them. I couldn't care less. I think the broader point here is if they win the gold medal or not. If they win the gold medal and they stay in separate hotels outside of the Olympic Village, but they win the gold medal, no one's going to be complaining about that. If they stay in the Olympic Village, which I don't know, am I right to assume that everyone kind of wants them to stay in the Olympic Village? Like that kind of warm, folksy, fuzzy thing, but they don't win the gold medal? Well, then people are going to be like, well, why didn't you go make it so that you're the most comfortable that you could possibly be? So no, that doesn't bother me at all. The U.S., I understand, is staying in the Olympic Village. Cool for them. They want the experience. That's great. Whatever. At the end of the day, you win the gold medal or not if you're Canada or the United States. And whatever you do to get there isn't going to matter nearly as much as if you do or not. So, yeah, that's their decision. Doesn't bother me.
Well, I was thinking from an advantage point of view. The U.S. are going to be in the Olympic Village. They're going to be together. They're going to have the experience. Now, look, I didn't make anything of it, but I guess that's one small way I could say. But then again, you could also say, hey, we're going to get a rest. We got more of a routine. We're in the hotel room. I mean, I wouldn't really care. I was just curious.
Yeah, a little more comfortable maybe, but like I'm not going to say that the guys won't be as together as the Americans, right? It's like a road trip in the National Hockey League in nicer rooms. If anything, it should be more conducive to camaraderie and in this case, comfort. Because the beds that I saw over there in the Olympic Village, there are no orthopedic mattresses over there. I don't think so.
What do you think about the closed practice?
Yeah, I was getting to that, Terry. I don't like that very much. You know, I saw someone giving our boy Ryan Rishaug a hard time yesterday on Twitter that, oh, there goes Ryan complaining about
Oh,
the
yeah.
event. No, I'm sorry. He's absolutely right. I also found it was wild that the person who was giving him a hard time also had the tweets set so that you couldn't reply to them. So I think that tells me all I need to know about that individual. But look, I'd never like to see availability diminish. It's not that I'm whining or, Ryan's whining or anybody in our business is whining about it. We're there. He's there to do our jobs. And when you make it more difficult, I do not like that. I cannot get behind that. And I do find that to be an element of paranoia. Now, it's somewhat surprising because I never found John Cooper to be a guy that operates under that type of a mindset. So that was a bit of a surprise. It was the same thing, the women's team there when it was whether or not the game against Finland was going to be postponed because Finland was struck with the norovirus, and they didn't make any players available. And only the GM. I don't understand that. Why? The more you talk, the less what you say matters, because it's not like an appearance of the dodo bird where suddenly so-and-so has talked and we got to parse every word to the nth degree. I don't like that. I don't get it. And then in the women's game too, it's give us more coverage. Okay, people fly halfway around the world. No players available today. What? Doesn't make sense to me. So from the men's standpoint, the closed practice, I don't like that. I think if you're concerned that someone is seeing something that's ultimately going to lead to a competitive advantage, I think you're kidding yourself. I really do. I don't think it matters.
Yeah, I would agree. Looking at some of the decisions, and hey, we're kind of curious on captaincies. I don't know if it really that matters. Most of these, how many dressing rooms have lots of guys who are captains or associate captains on their team? You know what? You're going to pick a select few guys, and they're going to wear the letter, and away you go. Nathan McKinnon doesn't have a letter. Does that mean I don't think he's going to be a massive impact player in the team? Of course not. Right. But when you look at Canada, what do you think they're going to do with their goaltending? Who do you think they're just going to go with two and rotate them and see who starts? Or do you think they're going to run with Binnington?
Well, I think I would be really surprised if Jordan Binnington does not get the first look. I think I can tell you that John Cooper has a great deal of confidence in Jordan Binnington, both what he says publicly and the way he feels privately. I think when they had that moment on the ice after the Four Nations last year where Canada won and John leaned into Jordan, when it was really giving it to him, along the lines, I think he said, I always knew I believed in you and you delivered for me. I think that's basically the message that he was getting there at. So, you got to dance with the guy that won you the tournament the last time off the hop. And I think you'll get that start. First off, do I think his leash should be a little shorter than, maybe Marty Brodeur back? Yeah, probably I do, because let's face facts. He hasn't been very good this year in St. Louis. Now, the team also is not very good either. If they are able to establish a structure where they know where the shots are coming from and everything is predictable, I bet Jordan Binnington's play will elevate dramatically. But he has a track record of being able to deliver at high leverage circumstances when the chips are on the line in the Stanley Cup final, albeit, yes, that was coming up on 7 years ago, but much more recently where he out goaltended the guy that won the Hart Trophy and the Vezina Trophy last year in the Four Nations gold medal game, Connor Hellebuck. He just simply was a better goalie than Connor Hellebuck in that game. So he should get the start. And then I think it comes down to how he plays. If he plays good, you keep rolling. If it looks like there are some holes in his game, then I think you turn to one of the other guys that you brought and see how he performs, and then you make a further decision at that point. But at this point, I would be really surprised if they did not go with Jordan Binnington to start the tournament.
Okay. Is there anything that concerns you about Team Canada heading into the tournament?
I guess I'd say that their blue line, there are a bunch of guys that are on it this year that are not having great years. Drew Doughty has not been great in the last month. Colton Parayko is on a team in St. Louis now where they're just not having a lot of success. Travis Sanheim is on a team that has fallen off dramatically in the standings. So in the immediacy, they're not having great years, but they have shown an ability to elevate their game to an elite level when it matters. Again, most recently last year in February in the Four Nations. So I guess my question is, can they get their game back to that point quickly? Or is what we're seeing this year just how they're playing this year? That would be my primary concern. I'm honestly not concerned about the goaltending if the guys in front of the goaltenders play the way they're capable of. I think Jordan Binnington will make the stops that he needs to make and mix in a few extra that he probably shouldn't. And I think they'll be able to score. It's, to me, will they be able to play with enough structure in their own end? And, I think when you're amongst better players, as they all are now, it shifts some of the responsibility from some of these guys that are maybe being asked to handle too much with their own teams right now. I feel like Canada will be good, but that would be my only question mark right now.
All right, Davey, have a great one. Enjoy the Olympics, and Canada will have had a few games in the books by the time we talk next week, so we'll have lots to discuss.
Yeah, it should be good. See you, boys.
There you go.
See you, buddy.
Dave McCarthy from Sirius XM. Take a quick break. We'll return. We got lots to get to, and you know what? I would love to. I might have to start a series, a sequence of just like debunking myths and false claims when it comes to sports. It's stunning because I got a few today of people countering. So I always like to counter with facts, not opinion, facts. We'll get to that when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hello. You're never going to believe this. Booster Juice called your name today. You can get a free smoothie or acai bowl.
No way. I'm heading there now.
Oh my gosh, you and my brother have the same name. Okay, I'm calling him next. I'm hanging up.
Booster Juice Names of the Day is back. 2 names are selected each day, and if your name matches, you can get a free smoothie or an acai bowl. Watch for your name on the Booster Rewards app and social media. Must be an app member to qualify. Booster Juice. Canadian born, blending since 1999.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
The longest running basketball show in Canada airs every Saturday morning at 10 on Sports 1440. Hoop City with Paul Sir introduces a new generation of basketball talk, and it's right here on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass. If you manage or lead a team, join your peers April 14th to 17th at the Banff Management Course. PA Douglas Training invites you to 3 days of immersive leadership development in beautiful Banff, Alberta. Learn how to manage conflict, motivate and influence others, strengthen teamwork, and improve productivity. Proudly Canadian, PA Douglas has trained over 150,000 professionals. Registration includes 3 nights at the Banff Springs Hotel, breakfast, select meals, refreshments, and course materials. Register now at padouglas.ca.
Get ready to love your home, Canada. The Brick has the styles and the savings to make you fall head over heels. Save $1,100 on couches made for cuddling. Enjoy a romantic meal in the dining set up to 25% off. And yes, save 25% off in the bedroom, too. Plus, score up to $1,500 off the TV of your dreams. Love is in the air, and so are the savings. Only at the Brick. Some exclusions apply. Check out the Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, Northside, and downtown.
If I had $46,000, I'd buy a robot butler and a trampoline. And maybe a trampoline for the robot butler.
You might have a few ideas of your own. The first early bird deadline for the Big Brothers Big Sisters Dream Home Lottery is February 11th. Get your tickets now for a chance to win $46,000 and support kids across Edmonton. Buy today at bigbrothersdreamhome.org. Lottery license number 745563 and 745562. Tickets sold only within Alberta.
Looking for the perfect gift? Give the gift of great taste with a Loca Quality Market gift card. Redeemable at any Loca Quality Market or Loca operated restaurant. It's a treat for food lovers. Ready anytime. Grab yours today at loca.ca.
1, 2, 3, baby, don't mess around because you love.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. It's Terrific Tuesday. Get 40% off any regular priced pizza when you use code word 40Tuesday at the start of each pizza order at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.348, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you. Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you're having a lovely, lovely Tuesday afternoon. Coming up a little bit later on in the program. We are going to be joined by Struddy, Chris Morris. We got Spec, DVD. We'll get to the 2-minute warning. We got 5 questions and more. I got a few text tweets to get to. Hey, Gregs, I love that you looked into this. I've been wondering all season long about the Oilers' depth. And you know what? Hey, I appreciate that, Pat, because I do. Like, it's people, and it's funny. Like, people will keep repeating things. Like, I got this guy on X, Den Paulin, who's like, hey, Gregor, and here's a classic. He was all upset about, it's the bench management of Knobloch. And, Perry might not have produced a lot because originally he said he produced a lot playing with McDavid and Draisaitl, which, of course, was false because they played 60 minutes together. And that the 3 of them, when they were together 5-on-5, had 1 goal combined, and it wasn't Perry. Now, did Perry score a few power play goals? Yes. I'm talking 5-on-5, and he had 15 5-on-5 goals last year. He had 2 in 112 minutes with McDavid. He had 4 in 210 minutes with Derek Ryan. He had a higher goal per 60 rate with Derek freaking Ryan than he did with Connor McDavid. Stop with the BS. Stop it. And people just double down. Oh, no. And they try to move the goalposts. It's hilarious. Okay? It's hilarious. He's like, you know what? You gotta, Perry got confidence just because the minutes. Yeah. He played 252 minutes with either McDavid, Draisaitl, or them together. 252 all of last year. Do you know how many minutes Andrew Mangiapane has played this year with McDavid and Draisaitl? 5-on-5? 240. Okay? And the season is not even 3/4 old. So he's on pace to play way more. But guess what? I thought that should just give him the confidence to score. It hasn't, has it? Because he hasn't played as well. He's not doing the things Corey Perry did. Corey Perry scored regardless of which line he was on. Just like other guys around the league. TRU played. Like, to me, it's the most bogus argument going in Edmonton right now. And sorry, but Derek Ryan's the one who said it, that, coach has got to give other guys, they got to play more minutes. They've got 11 players, forwards, averaging 12 minutes a game. There's no one else in the West who has that many guys. Now, other teams, the Oilers have 4 guys playing 18-plus minutes. Some teams have 3. Some teams have 2. Colorado has 5. No one says they're too top-heavy because their bottom guys score in limited minutes. Because, it's a tough job. I'd say it might be the hardest job, TR. But the truth of the matter is most of your bottom 6 guys don't get minutes with your top 6 guys.
I didn't realize that till your article. And the other thing is that Derek Ryan is saying it from a biased point of view. I mean,
Yes.
he's got a dog in the fight, or did, so to speak, right? So he's probably going to say that to defend. It could be even subconscious, but I just wouldn't rely on that person for that information, being so close to the center of the argument. But yeah, it's just, look, and that a lot of people would say, well, that's the reason that he overloads once in a while with Draisaitl and McDavid, although that hasn't been proven to analytically work either. But the bottom line is they need more production. I really honestly didn't realize that until you did the comparison. So, and what is that? I think you can rule out. I mean, we've seen the minutes. The minutes are kept documented, and we're watching the games. So I don't really think it's a coaching thing when it comes to like systems or getting all out of your players. I think, and it's, say, a guy like Frederick's case, you show all kinds of confidence in just verbally and monetarily in the summer. You commit for that long, and you just expect a little bit more. I think there is more in there. I think a little bit of luck comes into it, but you mentioned like 5 or 6 guys, and it's all the same, like getting Janmark. I mean, a solid NHLer who's played for that long and has been in those cities. I mean, you have to think. You're talking about 500-plus minutes on the ice. It's got to, just go to the net. It's going to bounce in. I'm not telling them how to play, but you know what I mean? The law of averages says that 3 are going to hit your shin and bounce in the net, right? Like,
Yeah.
if you're going to those areas, it has to. I mean, look at players in the league. You mentioned Ross, what's his last name? The PEI kid.
Ross Johnson for Anaheim.
Yeah, right? And I mean, he's out there more as an intimidating presence half the time.
Yeah.
Right? And you get that kind of production. That's bonus miles, man.
Well,
Go ahead, sorry.
The fact that he has 13 points.
Yeah.
Playing and he's playing less than 10 minutes a night. He has more points than Mangiapane, Janmark, Frederick, Lazar, Henrique, all of them. He has 13 points. That's more than all of them. And going back to Frederick, because then Dan Paulin on Twitter came back, well, you know what? Perry was getting confidence playing with those guys. Good coach does that. Well, it takes me 2 seconds to research it. So Trent Frederick, the year he scored 18 and 17 goals. Who are the best players in Boston in 23 and 24? David Pastrnak and Brad Marchand, right? Do you know how many minutes he played combined in 2023 with those guys? Combined minutes when he scored 17 goals.
I have no idea.
59 minutes. The whole year.
Wow.
Combined, right? The next year he got a whopping 120. He's already played 100 minutes this year with McDavid and Draisaitl. So don't feed me the BS that, well, the coach he's got to get him going. You're a professional NHL player. You got to get going yourself, man. Like I said, he's got to go away. He's on this break, wherever he's at. I'd go to the beach. I'd do whatever, have fun. And when you come back, I would treat this as a training camp. And I'm coming out of it like I want to have a good start to the season. I would forget and I would erase it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at anything because I can't change the past. And I'm like, I'm coming out here. We got 24 games. He should be well rested, right?
Yeah.
Just had 3 weeks off, well rested. It's not like he's taxed from playing, his 11 minutes a night in the first 50-some games. And come out here and say, okay, what do I need to do? If I was him, I would have got the Oilers video guys, send me clips of 23-24 from Boston where I'm scoring goals. What am I doing in those games leading up to the goals? Show me my good shifts. That's what the video guys can do. Here's Trent Frederick. Look at him. He's got his mojo. He's physical. He's hitting. He's forechecking. He's scoring. Where was I scoring goals from? That's what I'm doing. I'm not showing him videos of the Oilers games because God, that'd be a disaster, right? Like there's very few games. Maybe the Ranger game. That's about it. There's not many other games where I'd look and say, wow, Trent Frederic. And I actually thought he had a few okay games here in January where he's at least physical. But don't tell me that coach's job is to get the bottom 6 guys going by playing them with your top 6. You guys in Edmonton, no offense, you don't ever watch the other teams, and that's fine. But don't come at me with falsehoods because its opinion gets trumped by facts all day long. It's not my opinion that Trent Frederic scored 18 and 17 goals. Those are facts. It's not an opinion that he only played 57 minutes with their 2 best players at 5-on-5 one year and 120 the next year. And he's already played 100 minutes this year and has a whopping 2 goals and 3 points. He can't even get an assist when he's playing with those guys. He's just frankly got to play better.
Yeah, and you went back, mentioned when the Oilers signed him, or maybe it was Dave. But I get it. I know why they did. Like, he went 79 games. I'm reading it now. Like 17 goals the next year, 82 games, 18 goals. He's on the way up, 30 points, 40 points. I mean, he was and is still be on the way up. He's 27 years old. What a great year in 2023-24. So for some reason, it didn't just, like, it went off a cliff. Now, it's not age. And a lot of times, if this was anybody else because they would question, oh, you signed the 8-year and now you're taking a dump. But I don't think that's the case because he's in shape and he's playing all the games and he's there. He's not like he's mailing it in. I don't know if it's mental or what it is, or it's definitely not the city. His teammates seem to embrace him. So I don't know. That's probably a better question for him and the coaches. But as a fan, when you're watching, you're left flabbergasted because the numbers, they took a nosedive right in the prime of his career. So, who knows? Maybe it's an extended slump that does happen here and there, and he can get back. But I love what you said. That's what I would do as a player for sure. I would do that. That would be a great way to reset. I might even ask the coaches to throw me a bone on it. Go, okay, here, I know where we've been. This is a chance for me to reset. I'd really appreciate that. And let's be eye to eye from here on in, and let's go. I'm going to give you everything I got. Whatever we got, let's bury it. That's negative, and I'm going to come out here and give you everything. And a guy that does that, maybe it's not going to go straight up to the 20-goal pace that he was on a couple of years ago, but you'd have to think it improves a little bit. Those things are real important, the mental part of the game, and I think this transcends sports, man. But I know that in sports, and you're in a slump, it's all numbers. But now we start again. Here you go. You got 24 games, and you got another 28 possible in the playoffs. Now, here we go. Let me see the real Trent Frederic. And I think maybe you'd get something because it's there, man. It's definitely there. The Bruins weren't, they were onto something, and he was on his way up.
100%. And honestly, Trent Frederic, him and Matthias Janmark, maybe Adam Henrique, they should have went together on a trip. Did you ever watch Young Guns, TR?
Yeah.
Right?
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. What they needed to do is they need to go to the spirit world here, okay?
Yeah.
They got to get some peyote in the spirit world. Remember, that's a classic. Hey, it's because we're in the spirit world. They can't see us. That was so awesome when they're coming back.
That's it. You journey together. Yeah.
You guys see the size of that chicken? That's where Trent Frederic should go, man. You just got to clear your mind and get into a better space and come back because he's better. He's a better player than he's shown. But right now, he's the player that he's showing. So he's got to get back to being the player that he was prior. And no one can magically gift him that, TR. Like the coach tried to give him some confidence, but you can't just keep playing a guy when he's doing nothing. You can't do it, right?
Yeah.
It's like Andrew Mangiapane. The guy's already played 250 minutes with McDavid and Draisaitl. That's what Corey Perry played all of last year. Don't tell me that Mangiapane hasn't gotten an opportunity this year. You know what guys in the league have played 250 minutes with McDavid and Draisaitl? Not many. Okay? Not many. There's lots of guys around the NHL who have more than 6 goals and 12 points playing 12, almost 13 minutes a night, and none of those minutes came with McDavid and Draisaitl. So I'm sorry. I don't buy this coach is limiting all the depth guys in Edmonton. I just don't buy it.
No, and in Edmonton, a lot of guys do get a chance to play with those guys. I hate to laugh. He's an NHLer, but remember the Puljujärvi? Was it Puljujärvi? Was that right-hand shot? A couple of years ago. I think he went on to Carolina. I don't even know if he's still playing. But you see it and you see the Oilers and guys, some guys are there and they try and they're just either snake bit or they can't play with those crazy hockey IQ guys that are really top of the hockey IQ guys. I mean, Draisaitl and McDavid are two of the best at it, but every team's got 2 to 4 of them, but you got to fight, because if you can't play with them and you're not doing anything on the bottom 6, then there's no place for you, right? So you got to find your space, and usually that's. I mean, it's easier said than done here from my chair in my basement, but you know what I mean. People adapt. I always use Danny Cleary as an example, but I mean, a lot of NHLers that are in the bottom 6, they didn't get there that way. They were stars at some point, and you find out your good mix of skill and scoring and necessary roughness, and you go from there. And usually I'm not going to say it's black and white, but it's a little bit easier to figure out. But with the Oilers, I don't know. Is it because a lot of the guys think they should be on the top lines because, there's a lot of opportunity given? I don't really know, but it really surprises me, baffles me, your article today about the comparisons, because they're also on a really offensive team going in, and teams know that. So you would think and I'm saying they're D, you're going to get out there with guys. There's going to be enough times that there's a line change and you're out there for a few minutes with these players, and you would just think that something good would happen. Now, who knows? Like you said, maybe this is a line in the sand and afterwards it changes.
Yeah. We've got lots more texts. We'll get to those. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to the con man. When we return, Chris Morris, Jason Strudwick, and more. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. But here's the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Loca, meals.loca.ca. Dinner just got a whole lot easier. Chef-prepared meals. They can deliver it right to your door. You can go in Sherwood Park or West Edmonton into their lovely locations. Or even easier, just have it delivered right to your door. Meals.loca.ca. Start eating better today. We'll just do Tater a little bit later.
Over in Italy, Canada picked up their third medal of the games and their first silver in the short track speed skating mixed team relay in Moguls. Flag bearer Mikhail Kingsbury eased through the qualifying round. He'll go to the finals on Friday. Elliot Vaillancourt will also compete in the second qualifying round for a chance to get to the finals. And on the ice, the Canadian women falling to the United States 5-0. Next up for Canada will be the Finns, 6:30 a.m. on Thursday. In the association, 4 games tonight. Knicks and Pacers, Clippers in Houston, Suns host the Mavericks, and the Spurs taking on the Lakers. In the AJ, Drayton Valley will host Camrose. Puck drop 6 o'clock. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll ask 5 questions and also be joined by former NHLer Jason Strudwick and Edmonton Elks president Chris Morris. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Tasting just the right. You can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. Delivering you the news almost right away. Remember, you can order Oodle Noodle at oodlenoodle.ca. So stay on your couch all day and order oodlenoodle.ca. Oodle Noodle.
Mr. Rooter gets a colonoscopy. All right, Mr. Rooter, just relax. We're almost finished.
What are you looking at on the screen?
That's your large intestine.
Wow. The pipes of the human body. Incredible. This is just like when we use a camera for sewer inspection.
Instagram, hope you're having a lovely
tree roots.
You'd be surprised what we find.
You know, once I found a bunch of Hot Wheels.
Hey, me too.
For a plumber who values healthy pipes, call Mr. Rooter.
Expand your brand with Fusion Promo Marketing. Fusion is your trusted partner for all things branded merch and apparel. Thousands of products perfect for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Wow, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the Power Play 24/7 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today. At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Did you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site heavy equipment service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Visit japamachinery.com for all the details.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.407, welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley, Terry Ryan with you on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Hope you are having a lovely Tuesday. It's another warm day outside. Of course, our show brought to you by playalberta.ca. Olympics. We got another silver medal today in the relay at short track speed skating. Canadian women had a tough one in hockey, losing 5-0 to the United States. And at this juncture right now, they're going to need a miracle to beat USA in the gold medal game. They're not as quick. They're just not. It's been a real dominating stretch. I went back and looked at all the Olympics years, and every year that Canada won, like, you know what, you maybe won a few games leading into it, but you never dominated the U.S. like this before. And the U.S. has never really dominated Canada for a stretch like this before. It's 29-7. In their last 5 games here over the last 3 months. Not good. Not good for Canada. And you know what? We did have lots of people texting, Greg, you're bang on about Canada leaving some of their your young skill not on the roster. And I think that, and this is what happens. Everybody gets a bias. And when you have a GM and a coach from one PWHL team, then you got too much of a Toronto Spectre influence. And I think that's what we've seen here. And a little bit too heavy, the PWHL. They didn't have any of their college youngsters on the team, and there's a few young college girls that are playing pretty well and putting up some pretty good numbers, right? Like you look at Sarah Manis, right? She's got, what has she got? Like she's got huge production, 21 goals, 49 points, playing for Clarkson. Kaylin Lamarche, 32 goals, 48 points, playing for Quinnipiac. And you know what? I know that her numbers aren't great in the PWHL. But Serdachny is younger and quicker than a lot of the women they have in the team right now. And she was great at the World Championships last year. I think they made the mistake very similar to the 2006 team for the men, where they went with who they knew. They went with veterans. Yeah, you know, we're going to give them one last hurrah, and it's not working at all. And so there's probably going to be a significant turnover even on coaching and management side. Because I get why after, so many years you're going to have a change. I get it, but I think that's going to be coming. Let's get to the oil report now, brought to you by Go Auto. For all your vehicle needs, you're looking for a car, truck, SUV. How about 71 different locations or 36 different brands for you to choose from? They got it all at goauto.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show presents Struds On.
I don't believe in tea bags. I use loose leaf tea, and it is so much better than the tea bags. I'll eat tea bags. I'll.
Struds On.
I'm not a huge DJ guy. I mean, I guess if you hand me a couple glow sticks and a tight white T-shirt that I can get wet, maybe I'd be into it.
Struds On.
There's a lone steakhouse I used to go to down in Kentucky, and it had bowls of peanuts. I wasn't sucking on those ones. You know, I mean, you need to have clean nut. I'm talking about the kind you get in a bag at an Elks game. You know what I mean?
It's time for Struds On.
Struddy, how you doing?
Good. What's going on with you guys today?
Oh, buddy, hey, watching the Olympics. I love short track speed skating for the chaos and the excitement and the speed. And, man, there's lots of different sports I like the Olympics. Like, I'm having a hard time getting kind of set into a time of when I know the events are on. Like, I'm not loving it, that part, to be completely honest. But it's I'm figuring it out. And obviously the Canadian women, it's kind of what we expected going into this tournament. At least I did after watching them at the rivalry series. The U.S. is they're younger and they're quicker, and it's abundantly clear that they are, and that's unfortunate. It's what they'll have to learn. But to me, Struddy, this is exactly kind of like the men in 2006 for the women. They went with the old guard, and the old guard is not the good guard anymore.
Yeah, that it does make it pretty complicated. I watched the first period as well, and I think that they look like a quicker group of skaters. In that period I watched, the U.S. does. They're just moving quicker, and you're just always a step behind, whether it's offensively or defensively. And you can ride it for a bit and hold on, but eventually they kind of get you. So it's difficult. I think even bigger picture, it's hard for the Olympics because now that's usually a marquee event, and I have a hard time envisioning a big change of both teams. Well, I'm assuming the U.S., but if Canada makes it there, a big change in what the outcome might be.
Let's get to a few things. I don't know if I wrote an article today about the Oilers' depth, and I compared it to every other team in the West with 60 points. Because everybody's like, oh, they're not getting enough ice time. The coach got to play more. I'm like, okay, I don't really believe that. Especially when I see a guy like Janmark playing 12 minutes a night and he's got one goal. I'm like, how many more minutes are you going to give the guy? And I get it. I get why the coach plays him because he doesn't make any defensive mistakes. He basically can't score to save his life anymore, but he's become too one-dimensional. He's literally just a dead spot offensively. He's got 3 goals in his last 100 and what is he at now? 120 plus games. Like, it's not good enough. Like, eventually you got to do something. You can't just be like, well, he doesn't make a mistake with the puck. Well, that's great. So you're saying, like, we're never going to outscore the opposition on the ice. And right now he's not breaking even. He's like, yeah, he makes no mistakes, but his line still gets scored on. So, it's something's got to give here. But their bottom 6, Struddy, I came away at the deduction, what I kind of thought going in. Mangiapane, Frederick, Henrik, Janmark, 2/3 of your bottom 6 just simply aren't good enough right now.
Yeah, and it's, I read your article, and it was well laid out, clear. I guess the thing I came away with is why? Why aren't they able to create more offense? Like, what's going on? Is it the players themselves? Is it the system? Is it the type of players they're signing? What is it? Because last year was kind of Arvidsson, although he got a decent total. Skinner, it's why? What's going on there? So that is what I'm really interested about. I know Janmark. I think he gets some chances. He gets his odd breakaway and stuff. Isn't able to finish. But when's the last time Trent Frederick had a really good chance? And I'm an advocate for this guy. But when's the last time I thought, man, that was almost a goal? For him right now, it's if he wins a puck battle and lays some body, I'm happy. But that shouldn't be the bar of success. Shouldn't be set at those two things. Same with Mangiapane. He showed real life. Was against Toronto, got into it with their netminder and brought it in. And I'm like, okay, he's got some juice. But again, that shouldn't be the bar. So why is it? Why is it this group is quite muted? Specifically, I guess, this year. And that is what I think that, the coaching staff has to really kind of figure out.
TR?
Speaking of the coaching staff, Struddy, and congrats, by the way, and I heard that they're going to make you the new shootout coach for the Oilers. So that's a great thing. Anyway, oh God, what was I going to ask there, guys? Where did I start with that? Knobloch, there you go. Now I'm here, guys. I thought the one thing that definitely was not going to happen is any talk about Oilers coaches being replaced. Is there anything to that? And if so, why are they saying that? Is it because they're thinking, as Jason just said, he's not getting the most out of his players, or what do you think it might be?
Well, like when they made the change, the guy I was really worried about was Gullickson for a very specific reason in the power play. Like, I'm like, okay, what's going to happen here? That's been so good for so long. And then it's been good, and then at times it's been even better than it was before. So I'm like, okay, that's something that I was concerned about with the new coaches coming in. Penalty kill, I was, also worried. Not that, Koff was probably on it too much, but, Stewart had it going. Then recently it's kind of slagged dramatically. And that's really hard if you're playing catch up on that. But I think the area I am looking at is just the play of overall team defense. Now, I don't know that that's Paul Coffey's exactly in his wheelhouse, but maybe Gullickson had some input on that, and Greg's, you might know more than I, but that is something that I think is really important. And I think it's as much the group play. I think it's more individual play defensively, and the choices they're making shift in, shift out, that at times really compromise this group.
Yeah, TR, I'll say this, like Paul Coffey coming back would be basically neutering your head coach, right? Like they're not on the same page. So, and that's going to happen in life. Doesn't mean you hate each other. It's just like, it's probably not going to work. Now, they never replaced Paul Coffey, right? Stewart just runs a defense and the penalty kill. He ran the penalty kill last year, and now he runs a defense. So, McFarland came in for Gullickson. The power play has been fine. So if people want to say, hey, maybe they should bring in another coach, I could listen to that argument. I don't think it's going to be Paul Coffey and Struddy about the team defense. Even when they were like, this has been an issue for Edmonton for many years. They'll have stretches, like even this year, they had a 25 game stretch after a terrible first 2 months of the year. Their next 25 games, the Oilers had the third best goals against average in the league. They decided, you know what, we're going to shut it down. We're going to play sound defensively. They stopped with the glaring turnovers, lowered the dangerous passes. And then after those 25 games, like, well, you know what? We're kind of bored with that. So now let's play a little run and gun here. And let's try to give up 5 goals a game and give up quality chance after quality chance. And that's how they went into the Olympic break. And as much as it, because I look at the Oilers system, I don't know if I can say, well, clearly the system's terrible, because for 25 game stretch, it was pretty darn good, right? And their penalty kill strategy for 53 games was top 10. And then in 5 games, they allowed 9 goals on 14 kills and just fell off the planet. And guess what? With Paul Coffey here last year, they were 58% in their first 15 games. Like, this just seems to be an MO of this team where when they want to really suck, they might be the best team at sucking.
I think, Greg, I've been saying this everywhere. I just don't think they're really that emotionally invested in it. I don't. I think that they're pacing themselves. And I'll give an example of physicality last year. They were near the bottom in hits, I believe, last year. And then again to playoffs, and they're, obviously led by Zach Hyman. That is a big deal, but they became much more physical. So I think this team's pacing themselves. Even defensively, I think they are. And, I'd hate to say, well, I've been talking to you for years about this. That's a dangerous game to play, but we've seen them turn it around, when it matters the most, or towards the end of the year. So I think we got to take a look at what this looks like over the next, let's say they get back, and let's get past the trade deadline. So from post-trade deadline on, and there's not a lot of games left after that, but let's see if they can get it focused where they're I think the word I'd look for is consistent. Can they be consistent, like every shift, every game, and be that team that has gone on really good defensive stretches?
Yeah, well, they got to come out of this, guys. And I guess my question started, and it's funny you say emotionally invested, because Matthias Ekholm said, hey, it's not an excuse, but it's hard. When you got to play good defense, it's more being emotionally invested, right? Because it's harder to play defense, right? Anybody who coaches at any level, you can, you see guys, your young kids, they get the puck, they're thinking offense when they're in their own zone, right? They're not, hey, we just got to chip it out. No, I'm going to try to deke the guy because now we're going to have a 2-on-1, right? Like it starts at a young age. You think offense right away. And so it's hard to convince players to move their feet, play solid, hard defensive hockey. It's really hard to do. And I get it. So, you want to, it's because it's not as fun, for most players. As you get older, you can take pride in not scoring. But at a young age, Strutty, even you, who's not an offensively gifted guy, probably at a young age is like, hey, I like scoring more than I like defending. Who are we kidding? Right?
Yeah. There's some of that in everyone. But when you look at it in the NHL, it's really, defending is just a mindset and a willingness to do it and being in the right place. And it's I always feel, and I wish I would have been a coach before I was a player, because I think I would have been a better player, because you realize that if you just take care of a few small details, most of the time the game is going to give yourself a chance to win, right? You're going to kind of find a way. So the sooner you can defend and get out of your zone, the faster you are back up on offense. And you see a guy blowing the zone, and I get that. That's how you do it to create offense. But I think that's one way you can get those guys to buy in. So I stand by my comments. I've been saying it all year. They're not into it right now. They don't. It's because it's hard. Defending is mentally challenging. It's not, as you to use your words, it's not very exciting. No, man, whatever. Matthias Ekholm broke up a play in his corner. Now the other team, or they're going the other way. That's not much fun. So I think the emotional part is huge.
Jason Stradwick joins us here on Sports 1440. So not that you can just flip a switch, Struddy, but are you expecting them? How do you think the coaching staff then can help by getting that emotional level a little bit higher when they come out of the break?
Well, you can start the playoffs right away. No, but I think that, listen, the guys are going to see the home stretch, or anytime you get close to the home stretch, you start feeling a little bit more emotionally connected. They had the long playoff run last year, the short summer. They come back, their team looks quite a bit different, but they knew they had the Olympic break. And the Olympic break, whether you want to admit it or not, it's a pretty long one, and it feels like, oh man, we have a lot of games after. They got 20-some after. So when they come back, they get these practices. I focus on the defense, being crisp, all that kind of stuff. And then the big guys come back, and then you hit the ground running. And I will think there will see an uptick. It won't be perfection, but I think that just naturally, because it's now where we're at past the Olympic break, there'll be an uptick.
DR?
Yeah, quickly. I know it's the oil report, but we're extending things with overseas. Connor McDavid, do you like his line mates at the Olympics with Wilson and Celebrini?
Yeah, I wanted to see Celebrini on his wing. He's much watched hockey now on the Sharks, and he's a really smart player. So, and when he wins, he gets pucks back. I don't think people understand. He's a good puck battler. Like he's heavy on his stick. He wins puck battles, and that's something that every skilled player wants to play with. And Celebrini is a skilled player. But now Tom Wilson, what a big body. He is a huge guy, and I wonder how quick he can figure out how to complement Connor. He's got to go in and use his speed, because he's a big, fast guy. Get to those hard areas, drive through areas, drive to the net, and kind of just create chaos so that Connor can dart in there and grab the puck or make plays or whatever. But be ready, because Connor is going to feed him. Wilson can score. This isn't just a fridge beside him. So I really look forward to seeing it. I'll be interested to see how long they give these lines a chance. You think about Sam Reinhart's on the fourth line. Now, I know it's a little different when you're talking about the Olympics, but, if it doesn't work right away, they change after a game or after a couple periods. I hope they give these lines a bit of a chance, because it's a little different than the Four Nations process, where you have 3 exhibition games that are very, very, very winnable.
It's true. Strutty, have yourself a great evening. We will chat with you next Tuesday.
Yep. See you guys then. Lots of Olympics to watch now.
Oh, yeah, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Geared up. What are you most expert in now when you watch the Olympics? Like, what sport do you like? Oh man, I totally know this sport now.
Biathlon. I watched it this morning. Got the kids to school, came home, I sat down. I think it was a 20-kilometer sprint, 81 competitors. I loved it. And I'm a bit of a cross-country skier, amateur. Obviously, I'm not quite Olympic level just yet. Probably need a couple more winters. But I really enjoyed it. Watch these guys roll around and shoot their shoot the targets. That's a tough one to lower that heartbeat, man. That's hard.
Did you watch the skiathlon? The Swedish? Yeah. That's one of the more dominating performances you've seen at Olympics. To be that far ahead of everybody else, like ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I couldn't believe it. I thought it was a misprint.
Yeah.
I did.
Like she's 51 seconds ahead of her own teammate, and then like a minute and a half ahead of everybody else. Like that's like the best of the best, and you're absolutely dominating them. Like that was impressive, really impressive. Well, Strutty, I'd love to see you shoot because something tells me that your accuracy, we'll see. Maybe you make it like think it's a shootout when you're doing biathlon. That's probably what you do. You'd close your eyes, you'd think about your shootout, and maybe that would hit your target. Who knows?
Well, 2 for 2 in the shootout. Most pressure-packed situation in hockey, and I've delivered. Why wouldn't I deliver in the biathlon?
Yeah, well, I never know. Now, here's the question I had, because I know in your first shootout, you were aiming in a different area than your shot actually went. So in your second shootout, were you aiming short side shelf?
Confidence was very high because of my history in the shootout. I didn't have a history before I did my first one, so this one was really high. And I was waiting. I waited out Ben Scrivens. Man, I got him on roller skates. There's no doubt about it. And he didn't know what to do. He didn't know what I was going to do. I had so many options out of where I was. I saw the glove ion dip. Like any natural-born goal scorer, top shelf. See you later.
Saw the glove hand dip, he says. I didn't realize that. It was so equated. I didn't realize that. You just waited. You just waited him out, and you saw an area. And, of course, you hit it. I didn't realize how it played out, Strutty. Thanks for explaining that.
I'll send you the video, TR.
Oh, yeah. The breakdown, please. Send us the breakdown. That'll be awesome. Strutty, enjoy it. We'll talk to you next week.
See you, boys.
There you go. That's Jason Strutto. Quick break. We will return. Chris Morris joins us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that thermostat, it really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song while we turn the heat on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpot's Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Free trips, free iPads, a barbecue, a wood stove, the #1 dealer in the world. What? Who cares? How about no pressure, a great deal, finance rates as low as 0%, trade values you can be happy with, and an indoor showroom. And we're pretty good people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or visit us online at northgategm.com.
The future of female hockey is here. It's season 2 of the Female Super League, the first ever female-only independent hockey division in Western Canada, with teams from British Columbia, Alberta, Saskatchewan, and Manitoba. Featuring 16U, 14U, and 12U divisions, the FSL brings showcase weekends packed with thrilling games, and our 14U and 16U have been pioneering the advanced body checking rule, empowering young players. The Female Super League, where the best in female hockey takes center ice. Details at femalesuperleague.com.
If you've got a smart speaker, get it to play Sports 1440.
And it doesn't matter when you listen as we roll out the sports talk
24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Edmonton's home for sports radio is Sports 1440.
Debt can take over your life. The stress, the constant worry, it can feel like you're drowning. When people come to see me, they're often anxious and feeling hopeless. But when I explain how I can help them get out of debt, those feelings melt away. I'm Parveen Middleton, licensed insolvency trustee at BDO here in Edmonton. I will create a personalized debt relief plan so you can move forward with confidence. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Riverside Honda, 59 years and counting as St. Albert and surrounding areas' premier Honda and Can-Am dealer. It's your dream. Ride it at riversidehonda.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Breaking news. Breaking news. Welcome back to the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. So Strud says he's perfect in the shootout, Terry Ryan. Seems to be a little bit misleading because Josh Squared texted in that he played house league floor hockey with Struddy in junior high. The championship came down to a shootout, and Struddy got the call because he was an actual hockey player. He totally blew the deke and didn't even get a shot off, and we lost the game. Kids never forget, TR. They never forget.
Ask him if he wants to be on my podcast. Maybe we'll hear that story.
Well, I can't wait till Struddy's on next time because I want to hear his version of this.
Let's ask him what he has to say about that.
Oh, that is so classic. I love Jose just coming off the top rope. Hey, wait a sec. He wasn't perfect.
Hey, I was surprised, though, with his shootout in the Shoresy game. It was Scrivens, too. It's not like we had some yam in there. This guy was... He went, Scriv was in pretty good shape, and he's a good goalie. And Struds went down, man. He went shelf right up over the glove side, like he said. I was blown away. I didn't know what he was going to do, but I didn't think he'd be so confident and go like under the bar. It was really impressive.
You know what? I watched this shootout, and I was like, wow, that was actually a pretty good shot. So now that he's off air, we can...
I got to give him a bit of credit there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he could do it over and over. I'm not sure. Maybe he'd prove me wrong again, but I was impressed. He doesn't emit, this vibe of skilled scorer. When he played, he was very effective at what he did, but it wasn't scoring.
No, that is totally fair. Let's get to our football report now, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling. Home to no payments, no interest for 1 year on your furnace. Stay warm all winter. LegacyHeating.ca. As we are joined by the president of the Edmonton Elks, Chris Morris. Chris, welcome back to the show, man. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm excellent. Busy time for you guys. Of course, free agency. I know they'll unveil the free agents tomorrow, but also in March, you're going to host a combine and a huge Coach of the Year gala in Edmonton. It's going to have a new Ted Gouveia Award, also the Hugh Campbell Award, and some awards for some local Edmonton and area teams. Kind of tell us about what's going to happen on that March 25th.
Yeah, we're excited. It's sort of the combine's always sort of the end of the year before and the kickoff to the new season, right? So we're having the combine here that week, and then we're culminating it with the CFL Coach of the Year dinner. Really good event. It hasn't really been done this way as part of combine ever. Our idea is to make it into this black tie event where all the proceeds go back to serve amateur football here in the province. So we're having it March 25th at the Westin Hotel, 6 p.m. reception, 7 o'clock dinner. And anybody who comes is going to be rubbing elbows with the best coaches in the country at the professional level. And then we're going to have a bunch of amateur coaches in attendance as well that we're going to recognize for, the excellence they've done this year in part of our community.
So how can people get involved?
Yeah, so you just go to our website. You go to goelks.com. You can purchase tickets there. You can get information there as well. We'll be sending out more information as we go. We're still locking down who our keynote speaker is going to be. We're working on that. You can buy a table. You can buy a table for $1,700, $1,750, or you can buy an individual ticket for $200. And just keeping in mind that all this money goes back to amateur football in the province. So you're going to have a great night out, but you're also, you're helping give back to the sport that we all really love.
So, Chris, the combine obviously is a pretty big event. What does it mean to host the combine? Is there a benefit as an organization that you see?
Well, absolutely. I think anytime you bring an event to Edmonton, our friends at Explore Edmonton are working with us on the combine, and they want to bring events here that highlight our city. I love the fact that all the draft choices are going to get to see Edmonton and feel the vibe we have going here and see our facilities and all those different things. because I want them to be excited when we pick them in the draft. And I think getting exposure to our staff and to our facilities goes a long way to do that. So the combine to me is always the starting point. You get to see those kids, you see them for a series of days. You get up close and personal with them as far as getting to know what their character is. And, the athleticism obviously is part of competing against the other guys who are there is a big part of it. But having them in our home and seeing how they respond here is it's an advantage for us for sure.
Okay. Looking at the team, because I know obviously you let Ed Hervey run the player acquisitions, but I did want to get your thoughts, being a former offensive lineman, when you see that your team's going to bring in some offensive linemen, and how you think that can alter just the shape of a team, being a former lineman.
Yeah, you always want to get better, right? And so we, at the end of the year, we all sit down together and we look at, okay, so where are there areas where we need to improve? And we felt that our offensive line, we have some good players on our O-line currently here, but we've brought in some guys that are difference makers and some guys that are going to make a massive difference for us. We have a drop back quarterback who, we feel if we can give him time, combined with the running back we have and some of the receivers we have here in town, we've got some weapons now. And I think you have to bring in people up front that give time and space. And I think Ed's done a tremendous job of bringing in some people here that are going to give us that little bit extra to throw the ball, a little bit more space for Rankin to run the ball and Leak to run the ball. Like we feel really, really good about how we've upgraded in that position.
Now you coach Carter O'Donnell. Can he play equally well on the left or the right side? Does it really matter?
Yeah, Carter O'Donnell can play anywhere. Like, he's a very, very good athlete. He's an exceptional player. He can play guard. He can play tackle. He can play right side. He can play left side. So it doesn't really matter where you put him. For 2 years in the NFL, they were looking at him at left tackle. So to play left tackle in the NFL, you got to be something. And so he was actually sort of on a playoff contending team playing left tackle and looking to get onto a roster that way. He eventually got on the roster as a guard down there, but he's that kind of athlete. He can play anywhere.
Okay. Because I look at some of the guys you brought in and I'm like, this guy is your left guard. And the other thing is, Chris, and I know when you played, there's a lot of guys, yourself, Bruce Beaton, you need a certain amount of nastiness in your offensive line. Obviously you need skill, no question, but you need that. How much does that play in, do you feel? And was that missing at times to your O-line last year?
You know what? Those guys all played hard. There's a different there's a different mentality associated with playing with a high degree of physicality and violence and all those different things. And I think those are valued by us here as an organization as we build our team. So physical football is something that Ed preaches and Mark preach on a daily basis. And for us, the more physical you are, the more valued you are here. And we'd honestly rather have people who err on the other side of it than err on the side of not being physical. So we've got some of the right pieces coming in here, we think, to push that threshold a little bit. I know that's part of when we look at evaluating the kind of people we want to bring in. There's an element of that we greatly covet. So for me, yes, I think that's a big part of looking at evaluating an offensive lineman.
Okay. Chris Morris joining us. I know that you made some changes off the field in the organization as well, Chris. And you had said, you wanted to come in for a year and really evaluate all different levels of the organization. And some of they're not because a lot of fans see the football on the field, and that's ultimately what they care about the most. And I totally understand it. But as a president, you're building as much of the team off of the field and in sales and in other departments like that. How do you feel your organization's growing there?
Yeah, I think we're in a great spot. I think there's Jason, I'm a big believer in everybody sort of going in the same direction, and it really doesn't matter you need talented people, but more importantly than anything, you need the right people. You need good people who want to get together and accomplish something together. And us getting aligned as a staff isn't as simple as just coming in and telling everybody, okay, this is what we're going to do. You got to build that into your staff, and you got to get some consensus with everybody as you talk through it. And we've come to some real consensus as a staff as to the way we're going to do things. And there's been some people who love it, and there's been some people who have decided to move on. And I think we're in a really, really good spot to get back to doing things the way that I think successful and championship level organizations do. So I I feel like we're in a really, really good spot and we have the right people in our organization right now to get us to where we need to go.
What were some of those important things you felt you really needed to instill when you took over?
Yeah, I always talk the two big ones, like I talk about integrity and consistency, right? And to me, integrity is the right people. You want good, earnest people who want to be successful together. They're not worried about getting all the credit themselves. What they want to do is they want to build things with other people, and they want to be part of something, a collective that's something more important than just their own individual success. And that's a big deal. Like having people with that level of integrity and transparency and willing to do the things that are required for us to be successful, finding those people is always difficult because people with integrity are valued or they're coveted by a lot of different places. So you bring in people with integrity, and then Jason, after you get them there, you got to hold on to them. And that's where we're at right now. We got some people that really do things the right way. We got the right people on the bus, and now we got to make sure we keep them and we give them the sort of things that they can excel at. We give them the training they need, and we work with them to make sure they're successful. So like, to me, integrity and consistency combined, that's the foundation of any high functioning organization. And it really doesn't matter what business you're in, what industry you're in, whether you're building a sports team with U10 kids or whether you're building a high level organization that's designed to drive profit. You need that as your foundation. If you don't have it, you're lacking. So talking about those things as our staff and making sure people understand that those are foundational pieces for us, I think was a big part of the journey. And Jason, I'll be honest with you, some people don't want to be part of that. Some people want to look out for themselves. Some people have other ideas about the way things should be done. And it's not personal, but they don't fit here then, right? And I think we've got to a point now where the people who are here understand how we're going to approach things, and they want to be part of something like that. And like I said, I think we got the right people.
Chris Morris, president of the Elks, joins us, and I know, Chris, like season tickets, you guys are well ahead of where you've been in the past few years. Well, when you talk to fans and those that, because hey, people will say, "Yeah, I'll come to the game." It's different when I come to the game for free compared to if I come to the game to pay for a ticket. What's been kind of the response from fans as far as purchasing season seats, etc.?
Yeah, we're doing incredibly well. Like, we're months ahead of where we've been in many, many years in season tickets. Like, if you look at our history here for the last almost decade, it's been a steady decline in the number of season tickets we've been able to sell. Like, we're poised to be the first time in many, many, many years where we're going up in revenue with season tickets. So that's a massive step forward for us. And I think it's a tribute to sort of some of the things we're doing off the field, but a lot of positive things off the field as far as keeping key players and making sure that people see the things that Ed's doing and see the things that Mark's doing, and those things being consistent with sort of the culture of our community. Like, all those things are really important, Jason. I think people are starting to resonate a little bit with us as a team, and they're starting to feel more like, okay, they're back. Like, that's a group of, like, that organization wants to be part of this community. That organization understands the importance of community, and we're getting a lot more people sort of making that commitment. Now, the next step is to win, and to win more than 10 games, and to be a team that's driving and a championship contending team. And that's our next step. Once we get to there, then I think we're really going to be cooking with oil.
Lastly, Chris, for the now for the combine, do fans, can they watch parts of the combine at all?
Yeah, there's parts they can watch. There's parts they can come down to foot field. That's where on foot field is where we're having a lot of the competitive parts of the combine. You can get in there and you can buy tickets to see it. There's not a whole bunch of spots. Like, obviously there's some bleachers there you can sit and watch. The problem is the fire regulations in domes, right? So you can't fit 500-600 people in there, but there will be a couple hundred spots every day where people can come by and watch.
Okay. And how will they get those tickets? When will those tickets be available?
Yeah, Jason, I don't have an answer for you on that right now. It's a CFL-driven event, so we have to sort of wait for the CFL to get that stuff out.
Oh, okay. But I'm assuming it'll come out in March at some point, a few weeks beforehand, and then you'll put it on your website. Because it's great, that people want to come and see. Hey, you want fans to come on and watch the next potential stars of the league at the draft. So it's a perfect thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. Like, to me, again, it's the kickoff of the next season. Like, all these guys, like the kids who are stars in the league right now, they went to this combine and they performed at the combine, and that's the first exposure they had to the league, right? So I think it is if you're a purist and you love the sport, like the combine's like a really cool event to attend.
Awesome stuff, Chris. We appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, man. Talk to you soon.
There you go. That is Chris Morris, the president of the Elks. So good to hear that for the first time in a long time, revenue's going up for them in season tickets. So it's a good sign. There's a lot of work to it's amazing how quickly you can get someone to cancel their season tickets. Right? You get for somebody now, and I shouldn't even say that. You've got to do something really bad or something to really irk someone who's been a long-time season ticket holder. Like, because usually it's not, oh, geez, the team's been bad again this year. Oh, geez, the team's bad again this year. Oh, the team's bad again this year. Right? Like, there's that. And then once some of those people cancel, like, they're done. Like, some will come back, sure, but not a lot. And so now you have to regain trust from, I know that sponsors, I know for a fact, having talked to some people in sales, they've had some real challenges. And, under Chris Morris, they had to mend a lot of fences that were broken from previous regime and just, making promises that weren't kept, like things that you should never do in business. Anybody listening who's a business owner or works high up in a business understands, like, there's just certain things that you break your word, like your word, and just like in life, like the minute you don't honor your word or especially honor a contract, like, man, that will irritate people to the point where it's unforgivable. Now, it's a new regime, and I think originally some people are like, no, I associate you with the Elks. Even though you weren't there, it's the same organization. But over time, you come back, and that's really been a big part of their job, is just kind of repairing some broken partnerships. And you regain those, yeah, obviously you have to build a winning team. No, like, to me, I think it's imperative that the Elks make the playoffs this year. They don't have to win the championship, but they got to make the playoffs. We'll come back with 5 questions on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Can Torque. We offer sale, rental, repair, and calibration of hydraulic, pneumatic, and battery-powered torque wrenches, stud tensioners, and flange maintenance equipment. Order today at cantorque.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
Rolling through Tuesday afternoon. How are you? Work day's almost over. Maybe you cut out a little early. Good for you. Get home safe. Turn your lights on. Much easier for everybody. Let's get to 5 questions now, brought to you by The Brick, where you can love your home right now. You can save up to 25% off furniture, $1,500 off of big screen TVs. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Edmonton Mall, North Side, and downtown, or thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, guys. Question number 1 for you today. We saw Team Canada's hockey team out, little team building, hanging out with the boys at the speed skating track. What do you think is the best team building activity? Now, you can do this for a men's team or even a kids team you might be coaching. Your choice.
Either. Okay. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
Either across the board, men's, women's, or kids. I like problem solving. I always found. So, I mean, you split the team maybe up into groups if you got a hockey team, and then everybody work on it together, and then get the groups together at the end and maybe see if you all came up with the same thing, and then maybe do 4 or 5 of those. I really love those. Outside of that, maybe do that and then go right to a team meal, and then you got something to talk about. That's my favorite way to do it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can pick necessarily one way. It kind of all depends on your group and your personality and what you're looking for. I think anything that's going to resonate in players, I find getting comfortable with one another outside of just hockey, whatever it is. You watch another sport like that, you're going to see, like you saw the reactions. Some guys are a little bit more stoic. Others are very demonstrative, and that's fun. There's really no pressure there. I think at this point, you just want to do anything that's going to take away the pressure of the Olympics.
Question number 2. After seeing the Canadian women's performance against the Americans today, do you have any faith that they can beat them when it really matters, aka the gold medal game?
No. I got to be realistic. No, Team USA is just faster. They're better right now. It's been 5 games and it's been complete domination. It's not like Canada was, the American goalie was standing on her head today and just couldn't score. That's not been the case at all in any of the games. So no, sadly, I don't have any faith.
Well, who's the first place team in the NHL? It's Colorado or Tampa Bay are right on their heels, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So if they play, I don't know who's in dead last. I could make a guess, but in any case, whatever that spectrum is, if they play each other 5 times, I'm still not sure it's 29-7. So I think the women have a long way to go. So is it possible? Yeah, like in a 1 out of 10 way, but I don't feel positive going in after what happened today.
Question number 3 for you guys. I was watching the luge earlier today. So my question, if you had to do the bobsleigh luge or skeleton, what would you do? And faring on it, 4 or 2 man, what would your pick be?
I would go just because of the physics of it all, comfort, safety. I have no idea if bobsleigh is safer, but it seems that to me, and I know I would feel more comfortable going. Skeleton's out. I could sit here. I know it might be fun, but knowing the consequences, and you're going that fast, and I would just keep thinking bad thoughts. There's no way I couldn't get into that. Although, like Jerry Seinfeld said, isn't it? He said it's the only event that would be close, even if you did it completely involuntary, which I don't believe. But there's no, when you get moving down there, there's no going back. So I just think bobsleigh because of the convenience of it.
Ooh, man. Like bobsleigh, I think would probably be a bit maybe safer depending on what position I'm in. But there's something about the like I'd rather do skeleton than luge for sure. I just find the luge, like, I don't know, it'd just be uncomfortable. You're laying on your back, you kind of gotta, be up. You're looking at I don't like it. So I'd probably do bobsleigh, but I'd be tempted to want to try skeleton. But only like you got to start at like a quarter of the way up. Like, I don't think people realize just how hard it is to not wipe out. Right? They make it look easy, like in most sports. They make it look like, well, I can go around there. No.
We watch it so little that people don't realize, man. I looked into this a few years ago because I was curious. People do not realize, because the only footage we ever really see, 90% of it or more, is at the Olympics with the best in the world. You try going to the rec hockey version of that, and you'll see some crashes, man.
Question number 4 for you guys. On a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm asking you as individuals, what are the chances the Patriots or Seahawks get back to the Super Bowl next year?
For me, I don't think they're good at all. I mean, you look at football, and I think you can go on a run. Did anybody expect New England to get there this year? Why would you expect them to get back? Seattle, maybe, but still, the talent pool is huge. You got to go through all those big guns again. And I think football, like the people that get to the Super Bowl often have an advantage of those one game. There's a short regular season, and then it's one game, one-offs. It's completely different than the other sports where you usually see at least close to the two best, at least close to that for sure. But football, anything can happen. So I just, for those reasons alone, let alone, I think a lot of things in New England's game were exposed. And from Seattle's perspective, I really like the team. I love the way they played. I love the Darnold story. Love to see it happen again. But I just think, just going by the numbers and the analytics of it all and the odds, I don't see it.
See, I look the Broncos, not the Broncos. The Patriots kind of are like the Panthers of 15 and the Falcons of 16, like good teams that had a good run, but I don't think they're a team that's there. Seahawks, on the other hand, right? They went the last time they won it, they made it back the next year. They did lose to probably could have won that game for sure. So the Seahawks, I think, have a legit chance. They've got, like, their defense is really good. They've got an elite receiver. They got an elite running back who, I'm like, on a side note, I can't believe that to put a franchise tag on Walker costs less than a franchise tag on tight ends, half of what a franchise tag is for a receiver, and even less than a linebacker. Like, that to me is the easiest decision in the offseason. Seattle to just franchise him at $14 million. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer. So I'm going to say Seattle has a pretty good. I would give Seattle like a 6, and I would give New England a 0.
Yeah, that's about me too. Yeah.
Final question for you guys today is, on this day in 1939, Stagecoach, starring the Duke, John Wayne, was released. So fast forward about 100 years, give or take. If you could make a Western movie today, who's starring in it for you?
For me, sorry, I went out of turn last time. But I'll stick to what we normally do. So, Western, there, myself. Boom, I'm an actor. I got cowboy boots. No, I would love that. You know what I really think? I'm kind of joking there, but I would love to do another Western. I did one that was kind of close to a Western-ish called A Fire in the Cold Season. I got to wear my cowboy boots and one scene a cowboy hat. But I think the 3 Jims from Shoresy would make a good 3 Amigos, or some kind of take on that. I think there's a world where you could put 3 of them in a cowboy hat, have an adventure on some kind of Western situation, mountains, maybe, whatever it might be, some situation, some obstruction. The Jims have to come in and save the day. I think that's an idea. Could be pretty funny.
All right. Now, are we talking, Collins, like best actors today to put in a Western?
You're filming starting tomorrow.
Okay, yeah.
So who would you want to have?
Somebody who's around. To see some of the best Westerns, like, man, Kevin Costner's really good. I just think he might be too old now.
But he's already been established, isn't it? You're asking who would be good in a Western that hasn't really worn that face.
Oh, is that what it was, Cons?
No. I mean, if you want to go with a safe pick,
I see. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not gonna pick. I'm not gonna pick Kevin Costner. But I'm saying I thought about it, but I'm not gonna pick him. I'm actually, what I think would be good? Austin Butler. I think you could pull off the look of a kind of. I'm thinking like a remake version, like a newer kind of unique spin on the Young Guns. So I would go with Austin Butler.
Well, if it is, I'm gonna reiterate, change one thing. If it is people that have already been in, and I love Clint Eastwood, I can't say I love John Wayne. The Searchers would be my favorite. He's in so many, but I would go with Sam Elliott. Isn't he born in a Western? Isn't he born in a cowboy hat? That guy seems like he played a Western baby at 3 years old and still does it. I think when he's 150, he'll still be doing it. I don't think of him in anything, in any role other than something on the Western front, with a Western theme to it. So I will change to Sam Elliott.
Ooh, all right. Cons, what about you?
Good voice there. Well, it's about time. I think that someone who's conquered action movies is pretty good in comedy. I'm going for The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, taking that next step into a more serious.
You can think The Rock could wear a
a serious one. I see where you're going.
Serious role. He's got to get those chops going next. Plus, the name value is going to make a lot of revenue. So I'm going that route.
Well,
Western's great too because it can be a comedy, it can be a thriller, drama, just a straight up gun slinger movie. There's so many ways, directions you could go.
Okay. I'm just trying to picture The Rock in a cowboy hat. I'm having a hard time. Because if you're in a Western, he's got to wear a cowboy hat.
I think
I think you do. Kind of a mux.
Oh, I googled it. Looks great. He can pull it off.
It'll be a big ass hat. TR, thanks for this, buddy. Have yourself a wonderful Tuesday.
Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Edmonton. I'll see you guys again soon.
Let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 40 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. And are you looking for romance in February? Well, you could fall in love with a Buick Envision. You can lease a 2026 this month. All-wheel drive. Zero money down. $265 bi-weekly payments. And that includes GST. Stop in for a test drive today. NorthgateGM.com.
This is the Sports 1440 update.
Over in Italy, Canada picked up their third medal of the game's first silver in short track speed skating mixed team relay. Mogul-wise, Canadian flag bearer Mikhail Kingsbury eased the qualifying round. He'll go right to the finals on Friday. Elliot Vaillancourt will also compete in the second qualifying round for a chance to get to the finals. On the ice, Canada falling to the United States 5-0 in women's ice hockey. Up next for Canada will be the Pins, 6:30 a.m. on Thursday in the association. Just 4 games tonight. Knicks, Pacers, Clippers, and Houston. Suns take on the Mavs, and the Lakers host the Spurs. And in the AJ, Drayton Valley hosting Camrose. Puck drop at 6. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet and Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A pizza my heart will certainly do. Nothing says I love you quite like a Papa John's pizza. This Valentine's week, enjoy a special Pizza My Heart thin crust pizza from Papa John's for only $17.99. Check it out at
7, welcome back, Jay.
or on the Papa John's app. We don't want to break your heart, so the pizza arrives uncut. Available for a limited time only. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Ooh, girl, the way you touch that
Break.
really turns me on. Like a heat exchanger, sensual phenomenon. Wanna play your favorite song where we turn the heating on like a legacy of love.
Legacy Heating and Cooling keeps your Valentine sizzling hot. You can afford to shower your Valentine with affection because Legacy offers no payments and no interest for 1 year on your new furnace. And that's how you build your legacy of love. Legacy Heating and Cooling.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Just think, Kevin Karius has been covering Edmonton sports since before TikTok, Twitter, texting, and the Titanic. We may have made that last one up. Check out Karius in the mornings on Sports 1440. Your game, your station.
On the Rocks, the party never stops.
Check it out.
Mondays, bingo tune.
Tuesdays, tacos and tequila.
Wednesdays, it's wings and karaoke.
Shake what your mama gave ya with salsa lessons on Thursdays and the best Latin DJs.
Plus, live music every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, along with DJ Kenny K.
Hold on, let's not forget $5 happy hour, 7 days a week.
Your bar, your party. You're on the Rocks.
On the Rocks.
Jeff Brab and 118th.
The Hockey Super League is proud to launch its 9th season, delivering independent, borderless hockey. This year, over 125 teams will compete across Alberta, Saskatchewan, and for the first time ever, Colorado, USA, with showcase-style action, cross-province rivalries, and a strong commitment to player development. The HSL is the premier destination for families seeking balance and athletes chasing the next level. The Hockey Super League. Hockey without limits. For athletes born in 2013 to 2018. Visit hockeysuperleague.com to learn more.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.507, welcome back. Jason Gregor. Connor Halley with you on a lovely Tuesday afternoon. Canada up to 3 medals today. Now has them tied for 9th most medals, but they're 13th in medal count because the teams, countries with only 1 medal, if it's a gold, are higher than a country with 3 medals that aren't gold. So there you go. But currently 9th most. Now, a lot of the events that Canada's supposed to do well in are coming up, so we'll see where it goes. So got a lot of favorites coming, of course. Got the Fagbear, Kingsbury, and short track speed skating, and then obviously curling and hockey, and lots of other ski cross, etc. So should be lots more medals coming, and probably end up somewhere, I would think, in the high 20s. Hopefully, when it's all said and done. Maybe get to 30. We'll see. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440. It's where you can share us your thoughts, text or phone call. It's the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. $40 million up for grabs tonight in Lotto Max. Get your tickets at PlayAlberta.ca. As it's time for the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construction. They specialize in underground infrastructure. Make your life more enjoyable with running water and indoor plumbing. They're the grinders of construction. GS Construction.ca's Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
Oh, doing all right. Better than the women's team, Jay. That's how I'm doing.
Well, I said it, Spec. To me, this is eerily similar to the 2006 men's team. They went with veteran experience. The U.S. team is actually 20. I think their average age is like 23.9, and Canada's is like 29. And you're seeing it. U.S. is just way quicker.
Oh, you didn't have to watch that game for 10 minutes, and you could see it right away, right? The blue team is faster than the red team. There's just no doubt. Right up and down the lineup, they're quicker. I know that they're younger. I didn't have to look at the roster to see that with my own eyes. They're clearly younger, faster, quicker. Today's game, if you can't skate, you can't play. And I'm not saying Canada can't skate, but if the other team is that much quicker than you, you can strategize all you want. I heard some people saying, man, we're going to have to figure out how to muck up the gold medal game and play it along the boards. And I'm thinking, good luck, pal. How you think you're going to do that?
Yeah, it's not how the game's played, man. Like, you can't, like, what are they talking about? You can't play the game that way. It's virtually impossible. Like, if you want to play dump and chase all day, all dump and chases lots of times. If you're not quick enough to get to the puck, it's just a giveaway. All that happens is a giveaway farther away from your ice, from your own end. So it will be, it's going to be fascinating. Like, hey, obviously Poulin will help, but even when she was in the lineup, they got outscored 24-7 in those, in the rivalry series. So this is just, USA is a better team right now. It's unfortunate. And I'll say this, you're going to have a lot of chest bumping from the Americans if they win the gold medal over Canada in the women's game. Probably extra loud, because a lot of them don't have faith that the men's team is going to win. So that's just going to stoke the rivalry a little bit more, because, Canada will be like, they'll get sick of hearing the Americans, and then that'll make the Canada hopefully get a victory on the men's side to make it even more special. And, hopefully we have a double gold medal matchup of Canada-US in this tournament.
Well, yeah, I think that would be fun, I suppose. I mean, that's speaking as a Canadian. Listen, we know it's going to be Canada-US. Well, we don't know. I mean, the way Canada doesn't look great. We pretty much know on the women's side what it's going to be. Mm-hmm. Men's side's a little more, men's side's a little tougher. We'll see if everybody makes it through. Somebody tends to fall flat along the way. We've seen upsets in the men's game more than the women's. But I mean, we'll close on the women's team. You might lose 2 or 3 in a row and say it's a bit of a fluke and we're going to come back in that last game and beat you. When you lose 7 in a row, there's a reason you lose 7 in a row, right? There's just flat out a reason. The other team's better than you are. Can they win the game in the gold medal game, Jay? I mean, I guess you can win the gold medal game, but oh boy, it would be your miracle on ice at this point, wouldn't it?
Oh God, yeah, it would be. Honestly, if Canada was to find a way to win that gold medal game, that would be one of the biggest upsets ever in women's hockey, because USA right now looks like a juggernaut. There's no denying it. Okay, we are about. What do we got? About 39 hours before Canada plays on the men's side. We'll see them against Czechia, which, will not be an easy game by any stretch of imagination. But tomorrow, Slovakia will kick things off against Finland in the opening game of the tournament. And it'll just be nice to kind of see where they're at. And I'll say this, I'm always kind of curious to see how the Finns are going to look in these tournaments, because they always seem to, for a country of only 5 million people, man, they give you the best of what they have all the time.
Yeah, there's no, one thing about our job, and you run into these guys, the Finnish people have a particular pride. They really, being from a small country, being a country that's lived next to Russia forever and been overtaken by Russians and by Nazis and by blah. Their whole history is being the little guy. And they don't win every fight, but no one leaves a fight with a Finn, right? Without a few scratches and a few marks. Like their whole being is, yeah, we might be small, but you try taking us on. And it extrapolates right to their hockey team. Their little hockey team, they got less people in their province, in their country, than BC has in their province. And those Finnish hockey teams are hard to beat at the junior level, at the U18 level, at the men's worlds, all of them. So, yes, Finland's, we all love the Finns. They're I do anyway. I got a ton of respect for the Finnish teams, and they're hard to beat. And they play a tough style. And I'll tell you what, if I'm building a Stanley Cup team here in the NHL, I'll take a couple of Finns on my team every day.
Yeah, no, that is very fair. How long do you think Wilson stays with McDavid?
I don't know. I'd say this to you. It looks like they're kind of building lines almost on the 2 the theory of having two guys together and then a third guy. And if the two guys, if Celebrini and McDavid go great together, probably Wilson keeps the gig. You know, if Celebrini and McDavid don't hook up and it doesn't work for him, I'll bet you Wilson doesn't keep the gig. So, you know, I guess that's what I'll say to you is let's watch him play. My point would be this, I suppose. When Zach Hyman plays right wing for McDavid, you have a legitimate goal scorer there, a legitimate 40-goal man. Do you feel like in this setup, with the centers they have down the middle and in McDavid, McKinnon, and Crosby with Celebrini on the left side, do you feel like you need to furnish McDavid with a right winger who could also score? Like, should it be Marner? Should it be Reinhart? Or do you think giving him Celebrini and a guy that's hard to play against is enough, right? I mean, it seems like it is. What do you think?
Well, I look at it, it's more so McDavid, you got to have a good puck retriever to play with McDavid. You want guys who can get the puck in McDavid's hands. When McDavid has the puck, it's way more dangerous. It's just, if McKinnon has the puck, he's more dangerous. So, and not that McDavid can't forecheck himself, but you like guys who can get him the puck. That's why Hyman works well with him, because he's great on the wall. He's a good puck retriever, but he's also excellent around the net. He knows how to read the play. You got to think to play with McDavid. And Wilson has played with skilled guys before. Now, McDavid's a different level of skill, no question. Different style of skill. But I think he should be fine. Like, Celebrini has shown nothing that suggests the moment will be too big for him by any stretch of the imagination, just, the way he's played in San Jose. Now he's a winger rather than a center. And that's an adjustment that sometimes gets overlooked for people. When you're a center and you're in motion more, you're used to it. And now suddenly you're not, there can be a bit of adjustment in playing for that.
Yeah, that's fair. And there's a lot of elements here. Like Celebrini's, he's still a kid. He's obviously an unbelievable player. We're not diminishing any of that. But this is his first time at this level. And playing next to Connor McDavid, sometimes you don't, you're not yourself, I guess. It's going to, put it this way, I would sense it's probably going to take a little while for Celebrini to calm down and just be the awesome player that he is. If it's me and I'm 19, oh boy, I got to get my feet on the ground, man, because he's going to go in this tournament looking around that dressing room thinking, holy cow, I got to be the best I could possibly be. All he's got to do is be Macklin Celebrini, because that guy is an unreal player. So once he gets his feet in the ground playing with McDavid, I can't see how that's not going to work, but I guess let's watch and see.
Looking at the Oilers spec, I wrote an article today about their depth scores, and I compared them to all the other teams in the West who have 60 points. And I was questioning the people suggesting that it was lack of opportunity and ice time that was holding back the Oilers' depth players. And after doing all the research and crunching all the numbers, I think it's bang on. They're just simply not producing. And actually, their depth guys, if you want to go team by team, 12 minutes a night, players like that, like there's a few teams who have some guys who play a little bit more, where the third line in Seattle plays more. But that's because the top line in Seattle doesn't score very much, right? Yeah. It's just their top line's not going to play way more minutes than Seattle's third line, because they don't outscore them, right? Like, that's the reason, right? The Oilers' top line outscores them. So I think Colorado's the only team that has more goals in their top six order forwards than Edmonton. So I get why they play those guys a little bit more. But I was actually kind of surprised at just really how bad the production's been per minute from some guys in Mangiapane and Henrique and Janmark and Frederick. Like Matt Savoy, no issue with his minutes. Roslovic, no problem with him. Kapanen, zero complaints. Yep. It's really been the four guys, even Curtis Lazar. Like Curtis Lazar has more goals than Henrique and Janmark and Frederick, and he's playing like 3 minutes less a game, and he's played fewer games. So I don't have much problem with Lazar either.
No, absolutely. I mean, you describe exactly what I'm sure you poured over the stats. I saw the piece. There's no question that they got a bunch of passengers in their bottom six here, and I know it's one of the oldest conundrums in hockey. The player says, the coach got to play me more so I can produce. And what's the coach say, Jay? He says, start producing more and I'll play you more. We've watched this in hockey since the day I walked in the door. veteran players like Henrique, like Janmark, like Frederick, those guys have to, by now, but this point of their career, they've made careers out of playing that number of minutes and being relatively productive. No one is expecting 20 goals out of Janmark or Frederick or any of those guys. But Henrique, his offense is completely disappeared. Like, there is no offense there. Janmark for a couple of years now has been a guy that gets you a few in the playoffs and none in the regular season. And we've beat up on Frederick enough here, like 3 points in 4 months. So, I don't think any of those guys can look at anybody in the eye and say it's the coach's fault. It's the fault of the minutes, right? They're not doing anything with the minutes they're getting. That's why they're not getting any more minutes.
Yeah. Well, I was looking like Trent Frederick was playing 12 minutes a night in the first 2 months. They had 2 points, right?
Yeah.
And remember, McDavid was like, hey, let's get Frederick off to a good start. He's played a few games with him. Didn't work. Then Trent Frederick actually scored in the Oilers' 5th game of the year. He didn't have a long slump to wait for his first goal, and it was the game-winning goal, the opening goal against that Ranger game, right? Yeah. So that was their 4th game of the season, I think it was. So it wasn't like he got off to this. He got to play center in that game where he had talked openly, wanted to play center. So I'm kind of like, how do you put him in a bad spot here? He hasn't found his legs, hasn't found his confidence, whatever it is. And it's got to be up to him at some point. You can't, everybody always likes to blame the coach. Well, I went back and crunched over all the numbers. Like, look at Mangiapane has played as many minutes, it's actually 8 less, 5-on-5 than Corey Perry did last year, all year with McDavid and Draisaitl, either both or separate. And Mangiapane's done that already. Perry had 15 goals last year. He had 4 goals in 210 minutes with Derek Ryan and had 2 goals in 110 minutes with McDavid. It didn't matter who he played with. He produced. Yep. And Mangiapane isn't. So I don't buy the, these guys, it's all this or that. Like, Matt Savoy has basically played essentially Connor Brown's minutes, and he's exactly on pace to score 13 goals like Connor Brown did last year. For a rookie, he's done more than you could ask. But it's the other guys, and they're either going to have to find their game or the Oilers are going to have to find someone else. Like, Josh Szymanski did more in 5 games than those other guys did, and he only played 9 minutes a night.
So you're describing a hole that let's face it, the GM's dug this hole. These are guys the GM brought in. I'm not blaming Bowman for Henrique. He inherited Henrique. He inherited Janmark. He signed Frederick and he signed Mangiapane. And, I think we've been through this a little bit already, but when you're the Oilers and cap space is tight and you got just over $7 million at free agent day to spend and make your team better, and you spend that money and you don't make your team any better, right? That's crushing. Like, that crushes you. Last year, they found a way to overcome Skinner and Arvidsson. When the chips were down, those guys were in a press box in the playoffs. They weren't helping. Arvidsson helped you a little bit once in a while. Skinner barely helped you at all. But they blew free agency 2 years ago and managed to make some pretty. Bowman came along and the White Horse made a couple nice moves, found a couple of guys. They did okay with that. Now he's got to do it again. Like, this time it wasn't Jeff Jackson digging the hole. This time it's Stan Bowman digging the hole. And it's a deep hole, right? They don't have money floating around on this team to go get a whole bunch more guys. Any moves they make, Jay, at the trade deadline here are incumbent upon him finding a way to get Mangiapane out of here. And, I don't know if he can recover. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure that Bowman can dig himself out of this mess this year, but this is his mess, right? This is his mess. He dug the hole, and now he's got a shovel. He's got to stop digging and start filling it in. Can he do it, Jay? What do you think?
Wow. It's a great question, Spec. I think that you're not going to fill every hole because every team has holes, right? At some point. So it's about, can you fill the right one, right? Like, which is the most important one to fill? And that's the one you got to fill.
Well, I guess my question sort of becomes here is what's the cost to let's say the priority is a defenseman to play with Nurse. Let's say your priority is a number 4 defenseman. You got to find some cap space here. Well, they clearly can't move Mangiapane. So what's it going to cost to move Mangiapane? What do you got to give somebody to take Mangiapane, right? And take that cap hit and get it out of your off your ledger, not just for this year, but for next. So what do you got to give up? That's going to be the cost. And you're giving away a nice high draft pick right there. I'll tell you what. So sure. I mean, let's see if he can find the right guys. He needs 2 players. And the problem is he had got a chance at 2 players and he blew it. He blew it on Frederick and he blew it on Mangiapane. Now he needs 2 more players. So if he can get him, my hat's going to come off to him. Like I'll give him credit, but it's a deep hole and it's complicated to get out of right now.
Yeah, very true. Spec, we'll chat some more Olympics and other things tomorrow on the show. Have yourself a wonderful.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to tomorrow. Let's get some hockey going here. Let's go.
There you go. That's Mark Spector, the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction. DVD will join us next. It's the Gregor Show, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. $40 million up for grabs tonight in Max. Get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca.
Hey, Edmonton, did you know a local Play Alberta winner scored over $500,000 on Mega Jackpots Ocean Bells? Think about the season tickets you could lock down with that kind of cash. From major casino winners every hour to jackpots worth millions and hundreds of popular games to money that stays in the province, there's never been a better time to sign up for Play Alberta. Download the app today to get started with casino, sports, and lottery all in one app. Must be 18 plus to play. When you gamble, use your game sense.
Roses are red, violets are blue. A pizza my heart will certainly do. Nothing says I love you quite like a Papa John's pizza. This Valentine's week, enjoy a special Pizza My Heart thin crust pizza from Papa John's for only $17.99. Check it out at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. We don't want to break your heart, so the pizza arrives uncut. Available for a limited time only. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Top quality flooring, locally owned, and Canadian products from Beaulieu. Yeah, that's CFI.
CFI what?
No, CFI, Custom Floors Inc.
From free estimate to professional installation, contact Custom Floors Inc. at customfloorsinc.ca.
At Fountain Tire, success is a team effort. They're committed to their team members and their customers. And that means treating your vehicle like it's their own and finding solutions that suit your needs. Because whatever the road brings ahead, they're on it with you. Visit fountaintire.com today.
Get ready to love your home, Canada. The Brick has the styles and the savings to make you fall head over heels. Save $1,100 on couches made for cuddling. Enjoy a romantic meal in the dining set up to 25% off. And yes, save 25% off in the bedroom, too. Plus, score up to $1,500 off the TV of your dreams. Love is in the air, and so are the savings. Only at The Brick. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Ed Mall, Northside, and downtown.
Considering an EV, Subaru is the right choice. Discover their latest electric vehicle innovations, starting with the brand new Solterra, in stock and ready to test drive. Or the Trail Seeker, an EV at its core, a Subaru at heart, and built for adventure. Or the Uncharted This Sporty, all-new small compact SUV brings new levels of driving enjoyment to the all-electric space. Right now, Subaru is offering interest rates as low as 0.49%. Welcome to electric. Welcome to Subaru.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
We continue on 5:29. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. Lovely Tuesday afternoon. Got a lot of text flying in 833-401-1440. Lots of thoughts on the Oilers' depth. I know that we're looking for a lot. Well, hey, maybe Frederick's ankle. I don't know, man. Lots of guys have had a high ankle sprain. I can't really buy that that's the reason why. Maybe it is. But it was a high ankle sprain. Lots of other players have had a high ankle sprain. It doesn't take a year to recover. But hey, maybe it was. And this 3-week break will just allow him to reset. And you know what? I don't think Tread Fredericks lost his ability to be a decent NHL player. Like, that would be a real pretty quick fall. But he also wouldn't be the first guy it becomes between your ears and it gets mental. And you question everything. And then, you got a good shot in the slot and you're missing the net because you're trying to aim too perfectly. And then it just spirals and goes worse and worse and worse. So, I do got to think some of it's mental for him right now. I don't think there's any debate about that. So we'll kind of see where it goes from there. Let's get to our big guest of the day now, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku, features 2 sheets of ice, 1,600-seat arena, restaurant, viewing area, great place to, they got some special concerts in there at times, great restaurants. So check it out at the Silent Ice Center, as Derek Van Dies from NHL.com joins us. DVD, do you have non-hockey go-to Olympic sport that you like watching?
I like the speed skating, both short track and long track speed skating. Just something about watching those skaters whip around there, especially short track. I think short track's really exciting. I think they've done a good job with it. I know early on when it first was introduced to the Olympics, it was like roller derby on ice. Guys were wiping out and everyone was wiping out all over the place. But I really find that interesting. I find it exciting. I thought today I was watching the mixed teams, 1,000 meters today. I thought that was quite exciting. It was quite interesting. So, yeah, I think short track speed skating would be the one. There's a few. I like the ski jumping. I like the downhill. Watched the whole downhill, both men's and women's, the other day. There's a lot of cool winter sports that you don't get to see often. And, usually don't pay attention to some of these sports. Once every 4 years, you'll watch the bobsled or you're watching luge or you'll watch the skeleton, which I think those people are crazy going down head first. Whatever it is, at 90 miles an hour, head first on an icy track. There's a lot of cool sports to watch that you wouldn't otherwise watch if it wasn't Olympic year. But I think the short track to me is probably my favorite.
All right. Well, it was the relay sure adds another dimension to it for sure. So that was fun to watch. Canada get the silver. For anybody unaware of that, you might want to check it out as they show it later tonight when you get home. DVD, we'll start with some order stuff. How do you think Chris Knobloch, Stan Bowman combination and the players can get to a point where their bottom 6 becomes a little bit more productive? Because I looked at it today. I don't think there's more minutes is the answer. I think they get lots of minutes. They just, is it different players? Is it, does the coach got to try a different combo, or is it simply the players got to play better?
I think it's a combination of the Oilers, when they're down, when they're chasing the game, then that bottom 6 won't see a lot of ice time. So they have to have almost like the perfect scenario to get decent amount of ice time. They can't be a lot of penalties. There can't be a lot of power plays, and they can't be down. And, if they're protecting a lead, they got to be able to protect the lead. Basically, you have to have the trust of your head coach. And I think right now, whatever combination they have is they don't have that trust. In a close game, he's not going to turn to his third and fourth line. He's going to turn to his first and second line, which is something he's been doing all season. And I think those guys really got to go out there and just not be time fillers. I think Craig McDavid said that once. These guys got to do something. They got to create something. They can't just fill the time until the second and first line come out on the ice. So they have to make the best of the minutes. And it's a chicken and egg thing. You say, well, what can a guy do if he's only getting 9 minutes a night? And then you're saying, well, maybe he's only getting 9 minutes a night because he's not doing much in those 9 minutes. And I think that's the one thing. I think it starts with the players, and the players have to gain the trust of the coach. And I don't think they have it right now, because when the Oilers get down 2 or 3 goals, McDavid and Draisaitl are coming over the boards every other shift. They're not rolling through the lines. A successful team always rolls through the lines, and they're getting something out of each and every line. You produce something, like you create something, or something happens when you go out there. And I think right now, and too often, those bottom 2 lines are just being time fillers. They're not creating enough. They're not keeping the puck in the zone enough. And even if you work the puck in the zone for your whole shift and you get an offensive zone faceoff, that's a good thing. Like, work on that. Try and do that and then build from there. But you got to chip in with the odd goal every now and then. You can't have McDavid and Draisaitl and the top two lines contribute all the offense. You got to chip in with a goal. If they scored one goal a game, I think the Oilers would be delighted with their bottom six. And you just got to win that battle in the bottom six, because in the playoffs, that's what's going to win your playoff series. It's how your bottom six play against the other team's bottom six, usually because the top two lines cancel each other out. So, yeah, I think it's on the players. I think they really have to gain the trust of the coach. And right now, they're just not doing that as a unit. I think maybe he's got the trust of one or two guys, but as a unit, the two lines, six guys, they're not doing it as a unit. I think that's what they got to focus on coming in here, or else you're expendable as a bottom six guy. There's a lot of bottom six guys around. So if you're not working, they'll just bring in another guy in that maybe will work out better.
Yeah, like I looked at how Josh Szymanski in limited minutes was effective. Played 9 minutes. He chipped in, probably could have had his first goal. He just missed the net on a wide open net. Had a few assists, was a plus player, didn't get scored on, right? Like, to me, that was the big key. And I looked and said, man, now he only played 9, just averaged under 10 minutes a game, but he found a way to contribute. And I look around the league for lots of other teams, and you know what? You get 10 for your fourth line. That, outside of Seattle, that's kind of the going rate amongst the other top teams in the West. And you need some guys like Curtis Lazar's minutes. He's only averaging 853 a game, but his production's fine. Like, I have no problem with what he's giving in those minutes. I look at a guy like Janmark, like you can't, and I know he's super reliable defensively. I understand that. Doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but it's not good enough defensively because he's still getting outscored because he can't score a lick right now.
Yeah, he has no hands. Like, he's a guy that can get up and down the ice, and that's what makes you good defensively. You can skate. You can play defense. You can play in this league 20 years. You can skate, and you can keep up with guys. Yeah, you can play in this league. We've seen a lot of guys like that couldn't score a lick, that provide no offense, but have been in the league 20 years because they can skate, they can get up and down the ice and score. And, you look at a guy like Lazar, you look at Szymanski, they're noticeable when they're out on the ice. They do something. They hit, they go to the net, they created opportunities. But the worst thing you can be as a bottom six guy is a guy that has he even played? And how many times have we said that about Trent Frederick? Is he even on the ice today? Is he even in the lineup? You don't notice him for long stretches. There's a few other guys like that. You just don't notice whether they're on the ice or not. And I think that's the thing that you have to make yourself known. You have to make yourself aware to the coaching staff that you're on the ice by doing something really well. Either you're playing defensively really well, you make a really good defensive play, you make a really big hit, you're generating, you're mucking things up, you're creating, you're stirring the pot, if you like to say, but you're doing something. And we've noticed Lazar. Every time he's out there, he does something. We notice something about him. We've noticed Szymanski. I think there's a player there in Szymanski. I really do. I think he's done really well. I think he's a guy that can skate. He's a big guy that can skate and uses his body. And I think the one knock on Trent Frederick, well, there's probably a couple knocks on Trent Frederick. One, he doesn't use his size to his advantage. He doesn't realize how big he is and how strong he is sometimes. And I think that's something that he should use to his advantage. And two, he doesn't have great awareness of what's going on around him. Like, it's one of those things like you're wondering, he's just kind of in his own zone, whether he's got the blinders on. But, the other day, like I didn't mind that hit on McDavid. I didn't think it was anything vicious, but he's right there. He's right there. And you have to, and that's your meal ticket that's getting knocked over. And he just skated by, didn't do a thing. And it took Nurse to come off the bench to do something about it. But I just think you have to make yourself noticeable. You have to do something where the coaches said, hey, that was a good job on whatever it was, chipping the puck out, making a defensive play, getting a good outlet pass, or something when the puck's on your stick. Because if you go through long stretches where you're not noticeable, then you're like, well, what's the point of you being out there? And I think Janmark, we talked about, I think I talked about this on Kevin's show a few weeks ago when the fourth line had all those chances, couldn't score. Janmark is defensive backhand. If he could score, he'd be a first or second line player. He's really fast. He gets in good spots, but he just has no hands. And I think that's been the issue with him for a long, long time. But as long as you skate well, he's a really good skater, they're going to find a place for you to play defensively. And I think those other guys have to kind of carve a niche for themselves and make themselves notice on every shift.
Derek Van Diest joins us here on the Sports 1440. DVD quickly to hockey. And what's your expectation, Celebrini, McDavid, and Tom Wilson?
Yeah, I was a little surprised it was Tom Wilson, not Mitch Marner. I kind of asked him to come up with some line pairings. And I thought for sure McDavid would play Celebrini. I'm excited to see that. I'm excited to see what Celebrini does on McDavid's wing. I thought Marner, those three would be flying up and down the ice, considering the ice is 3 feet shorter than it should be. Can you imagine those guys going through the neutral zone? I think Tom Wilson will create some space. And I think maybe that's what they're looking for, to create some space for those other two guys. Tom Wilson's going to go to the net. He's going to get the puck, give it up to those two guys, go to the net, and, hopefully bang a couple in. I think that's maybe what they're looking for Tom Wilson. I think his you can't maybe have three puck handlers on the same line because you only have one puck. Maybe that's the rationale that they're thinking, is that there's only one puck and three guys that want to carry it. So maybe you got to put a guy on the ice there that not necessarily wants to carry it, wants to give it up and go to the hard area. So that might be a line. It's really interesting to me, and I think you look at those combinations and you're like, oh man, that's going to be tough to handle regardless of what the team is, because you could just let them go and roll the lines, and who are you gonna put out there in the top pair? You're gonna put their top pairing against McDavid. You're gonna put him against McKinnon. You're gonna put him against Crosby. Like, there's just so many possibilities. So I'm really looking forward to this tournament getting started. But I think that might be the rationale of that top line, is that there's only one puck and three guys want to carry it. So maybe we just need a guy that distributes the puck to those other two guys and creates a little bit of room for them in the corners and in front of the net.
DVD, enjoy the Olympics, enjoy the hockey, enjoy all the other events, because it's starting to heat up here. Lots of events going on every day now. I love it. So enjoy that, and we'll chat with you next Tuesday.
Sounds good. Thanks, Jason. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Dies from NHL.com. We'll return. We got Tater in the 2-minute warning and more on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
And here comes Action Electrical Service Team sprinting onto the scene. These are your first responders for any electrical emergency.
That's right. With their fleet of service vans and specialized gear, they assess, they service, and maintain electrical lighting and automation systems. They're all about rapid response.
Quick diagnostics and repairs to restore power and safety fast. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
Need a new ride for road trips, errands, or just life on the go? Go Auto offers a massive selection with over 15,000 new and used vehicles to choose from. With over 70 locations across Western Canada, finding your next ride has never been easier. Whether it's a roomy SUV for the family, a sleek car for the open road, or a rugged truck for your weekend adventures, you'll find it here at a price you'll love. Explore thousands of vehicles today at goauto.ca.
Prospects Hockey League's fourth season is underway. The JPHL offers elite athletic and academic opportunities across multiple AAA divisions. With over 55 teams, the JPHL is redefining the family experience by making elite hockey financially accessible. All games are broadcast live on Silent Ice TV, featuring a showcase-style schedule and competitive matchups. Learn why the JPHL is Western Canada's fastest-growing elite hockey development stream at juniorprospectshockeyleague.com.
The job won't wait. Why should you? At AWS Welding Supplies and Repairs, conveniently located in Nisku, we've got everything you need to get it done. From product sales to servicing and calibrating machines, we're your one-stop shop. We're a proud, locally owned and operated business, committed to serving our community with a proven track record of customer service. Don't let a broken tool slow you down. We offer fast repairs and free same-day delivery of in-stock items to Leduc, Nisku, and South Edmonton. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
McValue breakfast meals are $5 plus tax every day. Get a sausage McMuffin, bagel with cream cheese product, or breakfast burrito with hash brown and small coffee, all for just $5 plus taxes. Available until 11 a.m. at Canadian restaurants. Product availability varies. Prices exclude delivery.
Get ready to love your home, Canada. The Brick has the styles and the savings to make you fall head over heels. Save $1,100 on couches made for cuddling. Enjoy a romantic meal on a dining set up to 25% off. And yes, save 25% off in the bedroom, too. Plus, score up to $1,500 off the TV of your dreams. Love is in the air, and so are the savings. Only at The Brick. Some exclusions apply. Check out The Brick in South Common, West Edmonton Mall, Northside, and downtown.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting nonstop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape.
Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. Oilers back in action, and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings. Play, score, and win every game. See more at OnTheRocksYEG.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back. Remember, you got a few hours left to get in your tickets. PlayAlberta.ca for Lotto Max tonight. $40 million. Good luck. Phil Burton's have won lately. None of our listeners, though, yet. Someone's due. That means someone is due. Let's get to the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. Furnace kicks out tonight. On the weekend, you need a fix. Call Legacy. No OT. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. 45 years in the industry. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, he's in a wheelchair, doesn't let him slow him down. He's always wanted to be on radio, and through the wonders of technology, Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
In grade 7, I was the goalie for the Expos in the Glen Rose School Hospital Floor Hockey League. Picture this, me on my hands and knees, 3 noon hours a week, battling it out on the hardwood. There were 4 teams, Expos, Voyageurs, Mets, and Centennials. But the real rivalry was Expos versus Voyageurs. Every game against them was a war. And when we lost, it was brutal. If we dropped a game by a goal or two, I'd sit in Mr. Flesher's double language arts class like a zombie in the afternoon. A 5-0 loss? Forget it. My brain was mush for the rest of the day. So when Team Canada's women's hockey team got walloped 5-0 by the US, I felt that sting. It's not just the score, it's who beat you. Losing to your biggest rival? That's a gut punch. And the mental side of the game? It's huge. Bigger than the X's and O's. If Canada wants to bounce back against Finland, they've got to get the US out of their heads. Trust me, I've been there. In 1972, the Expos lost a big game to the Voyageurs. It got in our heads, and when the championship tiebreaker rolled around, we were toast. Not because we weren't good enough, but because we couldn't shake the loss. That's the challenge for Team Canada now. Forget the US, forget the score, and focus on what's next. Out at the world's longest hockey game, Team Hope is up on Team Cure 854-847. They've got minor hockey teams running the concession stands, raising funds, and the Canada game on the big screen. Come watch 2 hockey games at once, because whether it's floor hockey, international hockey, or a marathon for a cause, the game always goes on. All right, 2-minute warning here. Gregor, Hallie, Kruger, we'll get to you tomorrow. This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
It's a pretty close game. Usually at Sakers Acre, somebody kind of takes over a little bit. So they must have done some advanced scouting. 2 very even teams through a few days of the event. Well, it started Thursday night. So what are we at here? Tuesday. They're almost coming up on the midway point, and hopefully it doesn't heat up anymore, because that just makes it tougher conditions for the players. When you can't glide and you're on the ice for that many hours, it becomes a real slog fest. I can tell you that. So hopefully the weather doesn't get too cold, but at the same time doesn't get too warm. And they can raise a lot of money, raise close to $1 million. And if you haven't gone out there, it's a very, well, first of all, it's just a serene place to go. Like, there's just something about an outdoor rink, out in a field, and it's then you throw in the fact that guys are playing hockey for that long and doing it for the right reasons. Obviously trying to make money, raise money to hopefully find ways to have those who live with cancer deal with it a little bit better and have better treatments and everything for it. So it's a real special event, and I'm always proud to say that I got the luxury to play in it one time, and it was a wonderful experience. I tell everybody, like, if you want to do it, it's a good experience, but you better make sure that you are in somewhat decent condition when you do it, because it is not easy by any stretch of imagination, especially when it gets super cold. Warm sucks too, but just there's lots of injuries that can occur. So I don't know, Cons, have you been out to the world's longest game before?
I have, yeah. I went out there, years ago, and it was probably about midnight, just Sunday night. Kind of, we're like, let's just go and see what's going on there. I mean, hey, they're out there grinding it out there. It's pretty easy for us to make the trip out and give it a look. And we took over some beers and left them for them. I think that's not an issue, because I think there was quite a few pops going down. But yeah, it was really awesome, and there was a few other people out there. I think it was some of their moms came out to watch as well. So it is something special. The way it's grown. I mean, you could talk about that more than I can, but just seeing in the last couple of years what they've been able to do, and having the guys that still want to go out there and do it, and the sacrifice you make, like not only physically, that's draining mentally. You've done it, and all for such a good cause. So yeah, it's something that's really cool and special to our community.
Yeah, the next few days become the hardest. I can tell you that. The first few days you're kind of going on adrenaline, everything's exciting and it's good, and ours started out harder because it got warm. And you had to jump over the lines, basically, because back then, like, they've learned so many different things, but the lines there were melted and it was brutal. And so you always had to jump over the blue line because it had melted so much. And so that was a little bit of a challenge. But then it got cold again, and that made it better. But then in the midweek, you're kind of in the dog days. You're like, oh my God, we still got 100 and some hours here. Ooh, geez. Like, it just, it becomes a little bit of a mental grind. Not crazy, of course, but challenging enough. And but it was also like, there's lots of laughs. I was lucky that the group that we played in, everybody got along. We had lots of laughs, and it was pretty competitive. And Saker played up. Like, I can't believe Saker's still playing, because I played in 2005, and it's 21 years later, and he has not missed one. Like, he builds the rinks, man, and then he puts so much time and effort into it. It is it's amazing. His wife Janelle, now she's kind of jumped on board. His son can't wait to play. You got to be 16 legally to play in the world's longest game, just by the rules. So, that'll be awesome. Kind of become a family thing to take over, and they get new people playing all the time. So I do recommend anybody, if you have chance over the next few days, because they're playing right through until Family Day. If you have a time to pop in, say hello, drop a $5 donation. They take donations right there, but just go there, cheer on. There's always somebody with a story, and you'll have some good laughs, and you'll see, like, this is a really good thing that just average people are doing to try to make a difference in a lot of strangers' lives. Let's be honest. Like, sure, your family's impacted, but the impact of who they're going to help actually is going to be a lot of people they've never met, right? And all the money raised, and who they're going to help out with it. So that's awesome. So I definitely recommend anybody, if they want to check it out.
Beforehand, did you have any doubt? Like, once you start, you kind of have to go, but I've got to think there's a little bit of like, can I do this? Like, what a good opportunity to try to push yourself.
I was probably more naively thinking, oh, it's not going to be that hard. Stupidly, like, typical guy. Oh, it won't be that difficult. And, there was a few days that it was tough, but luckily, like, we had a few guys and we had lots of fun with it. We had, because, they have masseuses and stuff. And I think I had one, but we had guys that were in there every day. And I'm like, are you serious right now? Oh, like our buddy Scotty Bentley, he was a classic, so funny. But man, we laughed every time, right? Just like the guy he was always in there getting a massage. I was dying laughing. So, but we had a lot of fun. Met some really good people, and you still bump into them at time to time, and you kind of always have that fun little bond from that you played together and you made it through. And the other teams had some injuries, and there was because when you have an injury, that screws it up for everybody else, because you can't add new players. So it just means that more people have to double shift their shifts, and less sleeping time. So it becomes that way more. We were lucky. No one, and our group really got hurt. So the other team, I think, were down 2 or 3 guys at different times. One guy basically drank too much Red Bull because you have to, like, they test your heart rate and everything before you go out there. And so he had to sit out for a day, and man, were his teammates pissed. It's like, what are you doing? How much Red Bull are you drinking? So be smart about it. On behalf of Connor Halley, Declan Kruger, Tater, everybody else, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a wonderful evening. We will chat with you tomorrow. Let's get to the comments. Sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. Stop in at Fountain Tire if you're looking for tires, wheels, vehicle repair. They do it all. One stop, fountaintire.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
The Winter Games in Italy. Canada picked up their 3rd medal, their first silver in the short track speed skating mixed team relay on the hill. Moguls, Clay Barrett, Mateo King.